Fox 8 special presentation. Live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
Good evening and happy Saturday before Mardi Gras, everyone. We're at the Endymion Parade leading up to the Endymion Extravaganza. Kim Holden here with Lee Zurich, and what a great night for a parade, huh?
Could you ask for better conditions? It's just drizzling.
It's just
Come
drizzling
on,
and windy and chilly. It's okay, though.
It was a lot worse a while ago, though. Nikandra Norwood, our meteorologist, basically hit it. She said it would wrap up basically around 6:30 or 7. This is the first drizzle we've seen in a while, but pretty good crowd out here tonight, too.
And take a look at what we're faced with at this point. Right now we have the parade, which started rolling a little after 5:30. The parade is right here on Canal and South Jeff Davis, stalled, but we do see that it is starting to move down Canal Street. This is the captain's float, Captain Ed Munez, who has been with this parade from the get-go, and you know, he had a tough decision to make tonight. Do we roll a little bit later than normal, or do we postpone the parade to roll after Bacchus? Obviously they chose to roll tonight and rolled a little bit later than normal, and as of right now things are looking okay. But we understand that some of the bands have pulled out of the parade, and some of the floats may not be
if the rain holds
filled.
off, maybe they'll get back in it. We'll have to wait and see.
And you know, that's what we speculated. Maybe that's why they stalled.
Because they were stalled here for a while, so if they're not throwing, you know, don't wonder what's going on. They've just been here for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I know that these guys
we're throwing them again, too.
Have really been waiting all day long to make sure that this parade would
Watch out, Kim.
Would get up and going, and it certainly did, and they're in good spirits. They are definitely throwing. I will tell you this, the crowds that are out here right now, when we got out here about an hour ago, not a soul on the streets, and all of a sudden at the very last minute, which is what the city suggested, the people just started showing up in droves. So they do have a pretty good crowd in this rainy weather.
It's not necessarily what you would think for Endymion on a usual nice night, but it's pretty crowded out here considering the rain, and as Kim said, I mean, the streets were empty literally until about 15 minutes ago, and then it was people, I don't know where they came from, but they got here and got here quickly.
They were all sitting in their cars like us.
Yeah. They were smart, waiting it out, yeah.
And you know, anytime there's a parade like this and the weather is inclement as it is right now, we always expect that it will roll a little bit faster than normal, just because they really want to get this crew to the Superdome, get them to the party, and they don't want people out on the streets in the bad weather. So, and that's what we've seen up until this point. Before that stalled out little section right there, the parade was rolling pretty fast. So here we are, another float coming this way, and I think I hear a marching band in the background.
The Grand Marshal in this float.
This is Maroon 5, isn't it?
There goes the pop.
Yeah,
group.
this is Adam Levine, Maroon 5, and you know, this is a big deal to have this float filled with him and his band, because had Endymion decided not to roll tonight and to follow Bacchus, Adam Levine was not going to be able to stick around for tomorrow night. So he would have played the extravaganza tonight, and I understand that he had a previous commitment, so he could not have stayed for Sunday night. So I know the people are thrilled to see Adam Levine rolling by down the streets of New Orleans. I'm pretty sure this is his first carnival experience.
You did your research before this, didn't you, Kim Holden?
I love this parade.
Oh my goodness, she is just an Endymion encyclopedia. I can't wait to see what else she has for us the rest of the night.
You know, it's funny because these people out here with umbrellas, we don't have umbrellas because they would get in our way, but the folks out here with the umbrellas, and there aren't that many of them. And Nikandra Norwood suggested it last week. If you've got an umbrella, just turn it around at some point. You can use it to catch bees.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. We should point out we're all along the parade route. You know, we got John and Nancy in the Superdome getting ready for the extravaganza. We got folks at Gallier Hall. Natasha Robin is actually on a float. We're going to see her a little while.
Yes,
but
we cannot
let's go
wait.
right now to John and Nancy in the dry Mercedes-Benz Superdome. How
you guys
are y'all doing?
Lucky.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to ask him if that's part of his costume, those gloves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Wimps, but eat your heart out, guys, because we are so glad to be high and dry here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome for Endymion 46, back home in the Dome. finally back here, and we're excited about it, and people are already streaming in for this big party whenever we can get those floats inside this dome.
Yeah, the setup is just a little bit different. There's a little less room and a little less room to move the floats around when they stop. The one advantage to the convention center is that in the event of rain, they actually could run in the convention center at 9 o'clock as part of their extravaganza for, the club and that experience. There was some question tonight, and I don't know how it'll play out in the future, but there was some question last night about, gee, if it's raining and they rain out, what can they bring into the dome? We, with the exception of, as Lee was mentioning, a couple of the bands that have dropped down, maybe a couple of floats where riders said, the heck with that. Essentially, we're going to see a show here that we anticipate will be very much like what you would anticipate on any, Saturday for Endymion.
Right, and when people come into the dome, they can expect to see the stage in a different place because of the reconfiguration. There don't seem to be as many tables in the middle. I think they're expecting upwards of 14,000 here tonight, which is a little smaller crowd than they had before. But what a great party this is going to be.
Right, and some of the tables up here in the rafters, I don't know how choice they are, but they've moved the stage around a little bit. The configuration is a bit different, but this is, I guess, outside of Rio, the largest gathering inside one room anywhere for a carnival celebration in the world.
And we have so much to show you tonight inside the dome. We have our crew. We have Fred Hickman, we have Jennifer Hale and Meg Gatto, all standing by on the floor, just waiting for the party.
Waiting for the throws, essentially.
They may get pelted with throws. I think we're in a safe spot this time. We have Chris Franklin and Shelley Brown mixing it up with people who have tickets to this extravaganza. But first, let's check out Natasha Robin, who is actually on a float.
That's right, Nancy. We are on the Papa Joe's SS Endymion, the first super float. I can tell you it's been a wet start to this Endymion parade. We loaded on this float, I guess about 4:45, and then rolled out about 5:45. And it rained and rained for nearly an hour, and finally cleared up, and it's starting to drizzle just a little bit again. But you can check out the crowds out here. Even with the rain, people love Endymion. They are out. They brought the kids. There are people in costumes. It's been pretty good so far. Even the riders, they've been in great spirit. They put on their ponchos. They've taken them off now, but they had the ponchos on earlier. Still throwing. How are you doing here?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Tell me about the ride. We're trying to stay dry.
I hear that.
Tell me about tonight so far. What do you think about the crowds?
The crowds are great. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. We got soaked right in the beginning, but look at these guys, man. They're standing out here in the rain and cheering for us. You couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, people get very unique for Endymion.
That's right.
We passed some homes on Orleans Avenue. They had scaffolding.
Right.
Even in the rain, they are out there.
They're out there in full force. I mean, this is Endymion. It's the best parade in Mardi Gras. This is it. That's why everyone's out here soaking in the rain with us, So, I mean, we love them. I mean, look at these guys. They're everywhere.
I know. It's really amazing. We look at the crowds, 7, 8 deep, even when it's raining out here. And you can see them now. We're rolling again. We had stopped there for a little bit. It's really great, and the crews here, their motto is throw till it hurts, and they are doing that. The beads were packed so tight in this float when we first arrived. We had to crawl over beads. We were standing on beads in the rain, but that's what it's all about. That's what Endymion's all about, and the crowds are out here. We've seen some areas that are a little bit thin, but for the most part, people are out here. They're ready for this parade, and they are really enjoying it. Back to you guys.
That is making its way down Canal Street. They keep breaking out of formation and pushing the crowd back a little bit. It's great to see the bands and the groups that have decided to stick with this parade and continue to march.
We saw Warren Easton. You'll see them down the route. Some of our guys at Gallier Hall, we'll see them later on, but they passed us a little while ago. So there are some bands in it.
And, you know, we talked a little bit earlier about the crowds, and you heard Natasha talking to one of the riders, very impressed with the crowds that they are seeing. And I'm telling you, at least an hour ago, it was not like this out here. We did see one guy out here attempting to barbecue by himself, and there was nobody around for just blocks.
He was trying hard, too, and he gave up.
He did. He gave up, and he took his barbecue pit, and he went home. But he did try. And after he left and things kind of settled down, the crowd started getting to the thick of things like we're used to seeing for Endymion. We are seeing
Steve Gleason coming up right now. Travis is probably on him right now. Steve Gleason, the former Saint, who was diagnosed with ALS, and obviously getting a big round of applause.
Yeah, and we've done so much publicity with him lately, and the last story that we did was with Jennifer Hale, sitting down with him and showing his love letters to his son, and it was just so touching. And you know, the thing that he said that stuck with me most and stuck with a lot of people was get busy living. This is getting busy living. You know, he loves Mardi Gras. And it's just a great sight to be able to see him being part of this super crew of Endymion.
The Team Gleason, they tweeted today on Twitter just how excited he was, and actually Peyton and Eli Manning were in to record something for Team Gleason. So a big day for him and a big night for him riding in Endymion.
So these are a couple of the Endymion Maids going by, and you notice they don't have the huge headdress on. You know, the huge feather, I call them contraptions because they're just so ginormous. And with the wind situation and not knowing if the weather was going to cooperate throughout the ride, it looks like they opted to ride without those, and that is probably a very good idea.
But they don't have rain gear on either. It's not raining right now.
I am very impressed.
Yeah. You know, their hair looks good. The makeup's not running, right?
How does that happen?
You're jealous, aren't you?
How do the Endymion Maids look so perfect?
Do you want to get a close-up of yourself right now, or are we okay with that?
That's okay. That's okay. I'm sticking with my raincoat and my sequin Mardi Gras hat just to be on the safe side tonight. Here are the Flambeau guys who just an integral part of Mardi Gras. And, you know, you don't see them in every parade. But when you do, you can see them coming a mile away.
Yeah, they're great, and they got I guess since they shortened the route just a little, they got a shorter walk than normal tonight with Endymion, but looks like hopefully it'll be dry the rest of the night.
And we say shorten just a little. I mean, really just a little. The Canal Street Loop is what they shortened.
Yeah, so it's not too much.
It'll make it a little bit faster, and like we said a little bit earlier, this parade is moving probably a little bit faster than it would normally move, just trying to get these floats and get these riders into the dome as quickly as possible. And even though the dome's not quite ready in terms of all the people being in place and all the people being ready to go, I think everyone would agree that it's best to get these people off the street as quickly as possible.
If you're just tuning in, Endymion started late tonight, just after 5:30 it started rolling, but the weather's holding off right now, and Endymion is rolling from its usual mid-city starting point.
And this is the queen of Endymion. This is Erica Dockhand. She is actually the granddaughter of Ed Munez, Captain Ed Munez. A beautiful queen. Give us a wave. No,
she's not waving.
No wave.
She's cold and
she's
holding
cold,
on to everything.
But she looks absolutely beautiful. And I know that Ed is very proud to have his granddaughter riding as the queen of Endymion this year. You know, this crew attracts so many riders from all over the country.
Yeah,
that's another reason they really weigh heavily. Do we roll Saturday night? Do we wait till Sunday? A lot of these riders come in, and that's what they're banking on, is riding Saturday night. And I know in the past, Ed has said some of these guys ride Saturday night and they leave Sunday. Yeah. They don't stick around for Mardi Gras. So if they can't ride Saturday night, then they can't ride at all. I don't know if that's changed over the years, but I know that's one of the reasons they really try to get this parade going on the traditional Mid-City route at the time that it is supposed to roll.
And here's His Majesty Endymion for this year.
This is Mr. Lafargue from the West Bank. He owns a produce stand. He is the first African-American king for Endymion. It's funny because he said he and his wife almost didn't go to the coronation ball this year, where the name is picked, literally drawn out of a hat.
Lucky he did go, huh?
He was tired, but he did go, and he is so excited to be riding.
You know, one thing when you were talking about just the guys who leave, who are out of town, who ride in Endymion, they really took some extra steps this year. You know, they brought the floats inside the convention center, stored them, staged them there. They wrapped the floats over the past couple of days. So they really wanted to ride their usual mid-city route this year, and they did everything they could to do it.
And I got to tell you, when I saw earlier today, and I guess it was probably between 3 and 4 o'clock, where they had started moving these floats from the convention center to Orleans and City Park Avenue, I was at home watching the downpour, thinking, no way. Are they really going to do this? And because you think about the floats, and they're not just traditional Mardi Gras floats. These floats are covered in fiber optics.
Yeah.
I mean, just millions and millions of lights throughout this parade. And so that's always a consideration when they're dealing with a weather situation, how to protect the floats, which cost so much money to put together every year.
You know, one thing I think to point out, I don't know if you've noticed this, Kim, but as the parade started, even since we've been on the air for about 10 minutes or so, the crowd's grown a little bit. It looks like more and more people are starting to come out and see this parade as the rain is starting to wind down.
Yeah, more and more people getting the word that maybe the drizzle has slacked off a little bit, and if all you have to deal with is a little bit of chilliness and a little bit of wind,
that's not bad. It's not too bad. It could be a lot worse.
This could end up being a beautiful night.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice night for a great parade here. As we're at Canal, and Jeff Davis, if you're just tuning in, Lee Zurich and Kim Holden here on Fox 8 as we broadcast Endymion. We've got crews at Gallier Hall. We've got John Snell, Nancy Parker inside the warm, 72
dry,
degree, 75 degrees Superdome, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Natasha Robin, I think, has the best assignment of the night. She's on a float. We're going to see her in a few minutes too.
She does, and you know, we do want to just pass along a programming note, because we've gotten a lot of calls and a lot of emails today. If you are looking for the NASCAR race that was supposed to be on Fox 8 tonight, the Budweiser Shootout, that is actually airing on WNOL, Channel 38. So if you are watching this saying, what is this? This is not the NASCAR race. These floats aren't going
fast enough.
aren't going fast enough in circles. You can switch it over to WNOL if you're looking for the NASCAR race that is on tonight. We have another float making its way down Canal and South Jeff Davis, and this is not one of the super floats, but all of the Endymion floats are floats that they reuse every year and kind of tweak
beautiful.
them a little.
And you talking about, look at the lights flashing. You know, the rain can be tricky, but it looks like everything's working. This is Papa Joe's. Is this what Natasha's on? There's Natasha up there. Hey, Natasha.
There she is. Natasha and our photographer,
Donnie Pierce,
right
ace
front.
photographer.
And I have a question. Why isn't Natasha throwing us anything? What is that about?
Throw us something.
All right.
There you go. There you go.
Whoa, watch out.
You got to be watching.
Oh, ow, ow. Goodness gracious. Every year, I say,
Watch out, Travis.
I'm going to wear a
That nailed
hard
our
hat.
photographer, Travis, and thank goodness he has a helmet on. Travis, you okay? He's okay.
All right, so
Alford, he's
our
tough.
photographer, Travis Alford, is the only one out of this whole bunch that has learned every year to
Wear a
wear
helmet.
a hard hat. And he
Hard
does
hat.
it, and he protects himself.
His hard hat works, everyone, because he just got hit. Natasha looks like she's having fun up there, huh?
She does. So she's doing that beauty queen wave
She's
to
good
the
at that.
crowd. So,
You know, she didn't grab anything to throw it to us. She just did the wave.
I know. I'm not sure what band this is passing, because they're all covered up in rain ponchos. And we were getting pummeled with beads, so we didn't notice the
We were
banner
protecting ourselves.
at the front. Now this is one of those floats that come in two pieces. The Jester.
Yeah, this one had to be tricky to move in the rain, huh? This is float number 2. Welcome to the Mardi Gras.
And we should mention Endymion's theme this year is Happily Ever After.
Let's see what this float has. It's packed. We'll see if they're throwing.
It is definitely packed full. This float has 100 riders, if you can believe that. 100 riders.
Whoa, a lot of cups coming.
And you can definitely tell. Bottom and top, packed full.
Yeah, I don't think any riders are missing on this float.
That some of these folks that have their umbrellas are using their umbrellas to shield them from getting hit so hard.
She just said you need an umbrella to cover your head, someone right in front of us. They're learning, I guess some people are learning you get in front of the live TV camera, you can catch a lot, but you can also get hit a lot.
I'd be willing to let them come up here and stand in front of us to catch everything so that we avoid getting hit so hard. One of the dangers.
We got a little lull on the parade. We got some more flambeau carriers right now.
All right, we are going to take a quick commercial break and bring you more of our live coverage from our 2012 Endymion Parade leading up to the extravaganza. We will be right back with much more coming up.
You're watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
Welcome back to our live coverage from Canal and South Jeff Davis as the Endymion Parade is rolling towards the Superdome. Right now, passing us is the St. Mary's Academy Band.
They're prepared for the weather.
Yeah, every band is doing a pretty good job of covering up and wearing ponchos, and I mean they definitely saw this one coming.
Yeah, they are prepared and ready to go, and they sound good. Little drummers going.
We do want to remind people, if you are just tuning in, this live coverage is replacing the NASCAR race that was supposed to be on Fox 8 tonight. The Budweiser Shootout, you can catch that on WNOL Channel 38. Right now, we want to toss it over to Natasha Robin, who is live on a float traveling down Canal Street. Natasha. Okay, I understand that we just lost Natasha's shot. The beauty of live television, and especially when you're dealing with a portable live signal.
Yeah, that's about as difficult as you can get.
That is.
in the weather that we've had tonight, too.
It is. Natasha just passed us a few minutes ago on the SS Endymion. She and photographer Donnie Pierce making the ride tonight, and looking like she's having a ball, even though she didn't throw us anything.
She didn't throw us a thing. She just did the wave, the queen wave kind of thing. That's it. All right, here's another float, float 3. This is the title float, Happily Ever After, the theme of this year's Endymion. This one's moving too, moving pretty fast.
This is where we have to stop talking so much and try to protect ourselves.
Yeah, we have to pay attention and make sure we protect ourselves, especially when it stops right in front of you like this. There you go, Kim. Football. Nope.
I can't catch. Whoa. See, that's why it's good to have you out here, Lee. You're the big sports guy and played football in high school, and you should be catching everything.
Kim, I was an offensive lineman in high school. We're not supposed to have good hands, just to let you know. I did catch that football, though.
Well, I didn't play football in high school,
you
so
didn't?
there you go.
So
You're still
I have the advantage.
Way ahead of me.
And now we have another lull in the parade after the title float came by. We're at Jeff Davis and Canal, somewhat near the start of Endymion. It got to us, what, about 6:45, 6:50, the start of the parade reached us here?
It did. It got to us just a few minutes before we actually went on the air. So, and that's about what we expected. I mean, It usually takes about an hour or so to get from the start of the parade to here. And, you know, you see this big gap that we're experiencing right now. This may have been a spot where a band should have been and is not, but They are definitely still moving this parade along.
And important to point out again, you may see some rain gear on people, but it hadn't rained for a while now. We had a slight drizzle just after 7 o'clock, but other than that, it's been dry. A little windy, a little chilly, but not too bad. Right, Kim?
Not too bad.
You okay?
Not too bad.
Okay. You got your gloves, your hat, you're ready.
All right, Goldilocks and the Three Bears coming down Canal Street as we speak.
We're live on TV right now. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all right. Yeah. You want me to investigate something, right? Okay. We'll talk.
You know, everywhere you go, someone wants to talk to you about investigating
We're
something.
Just trying to watch a parade tonight.
I know. Don't people know we're here to have fun? We're not here to investigate anything tonight.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears, float number 4. All right, let's see what we have.
This is one of those floats that's booking it.
Yes, they are booking. Well, they
going.
got some ground to catch up, too, to make up. Ooh. All right, watch out, Kim. Almost a frisbee that hit you there.
I like the way you catch all those things and throw them back to our producer.
What do you want me to? I got to keep my hands free to catch more, right? You're depending on me. We got another band coming our way too.
You know, these crowds, and we keep talking about the crowds because I'm pretty shocked.
It's growing too, isn't it?
They are. You know, every year at Endymion, I always try to estimate, are they 10 people deep? Are they 15 people deep? And if you're looking from our vantage point right here, you could definitely say they're at least 10 deep.
Yes.
On this stretch.
At least 10 deep. I think this is St. Paul's High School from the North Shore. Their band coming up now too.
Boy, it's a good thing that they got here all the way from Covington, because Covington got hit with some really bad weather.
Yeah, it was bad up there.
This afternoon, a lot worse than we did here in New Orleans with the high winds and some damage. And at one point, the causeway was closed this afternoon.
Well,
so
you know, if they made the drive, they were going to be in the parade tonight.
they weren't going to bug out.
Exactly.
Come rain or shine.
Rain or shine, we are going to be here. They look like they're having fun too, huh?
You know, I guess the philosophy is at this point, if you've made it this far, you just have a good time and don't worry.
Exactly. You're going to be a little wet. You're going to be a little chilly. You might as well enjoy it. I like the moves.
They're skipping along.
Yeah, skipping, twirling those trumpets.
They got some fancy moves. And you know these crowds are so appreciative to see bands in this parade, because that's, you know, Endymion and Bacchus and Mid-City, those are the parades that attract the biggest, the best, and you hate to see parades like this rolling down the streets of New Orleans without bands.
I mean, like my wife, she loves the bands. That's one of the main reasons she loves going to Mardi Gras and parades is for the bands and just the atmosphere and things like that. So.
And some of these bands, just like Maroon 5 couldn't have committed to tomorrow night. Some of these bands
they have parades. Some of them are going to be in Bacchus tomorrow night or other things. So yeah, that's a big part of this. That's a good point.
We have a little musical float coming by, a little homemade-looking musical. Hey, the drummer has my hat on.
Yeah, he does. What's up with that? I didn't know they made 2 of those.
Yeah, we have the same taste. All right. We've got the Wizard of Oz float coming next. And you can see the Wicked Witch of the West on the front of this float. This is a
nice float. Look at that. That's a great float.
It's almost like the Wicked Witch has her mouth open to catch the rain. Or catch
beads
the
or something. That may end up, you know, some of those floats where people throw things back at them.
Yeah,
that may be. You can already see.
That.
Yeah, but you know how people do it. And I can already see some beads getting thrown at the Wicked Witch. I'm just saying. We're not doing it.
No. No, yeah, her mouth's going to be full of beads by the time the night's over.
Yes, there's no doubt. I always feel for the people close to him, though, you know?
All right, we're going to try once again to go back live to Natasha Robin, who was on the SS Endymion float. Natasha, are you there?
I'm here. We're going along canal. We actually stopped here for a second. I want to show you, there's a sign down there. I swam to get here. Throw me something, mister. That woman deserves some beads. We've seen signs up and down the road so far. People requesting certain things. I can tell you that in the beginning, if we could get a shot of this, Donnie, this was the throw that everybody wanted, an umbrella, because it was pouring down when we first started, and now the rain is gone. The crowds are coming back out, and everything is looking good so far on this route. I want to talk to one of the riders. I talked to you earlier.
That's right.
We're feeling a lot better now, right?
We're feeling great. Feeling great. It dried up a little bit. Well, it's not raining.
It's not raining.
It's not raining, so that's a good thing.
Okay, and tell me, how many times have you ridden here in
This is my third year. It's my second year on the Papa Joe. This is the best float of the parade by far, #1, and we know how to have a good time, and the crowds are still thick, still good. And are you having a good time?
I am having a great time, and
we managed to stay dry somehow. How did you do that?
Okay, well, I was using the umbrella. Let's be honest. You guys put the ponchos on, and I've been using an umbrella, and then we used your umbrella too.
That's right.
To keep some of our equipment dry as well. So, and it has gotten a little chilly out here, but really it's been wonderful. When we passed, I mentioned earlier, when we passed down Orleans Avenue, the houses, they had scaffolding, and it was raining, and people were out there as they do every year, because they're not going to miss this parade. And they had the kids out there, and the riders were throwing as if it wasn't even raining. But that's what Endymion is all about. And you can see some of the throws coming off of this float now, and we're stopped. We've been here for 2 or 3 minutes as we make our way down a canal. We're at Canal and North Broad, and once again we're on the Papa Joe SS Endymion. This is, as Kim mentioned earlier, the first super float, and it's a replica of the Mississippi River steamboat, which is ironic because it was raining, and I said earlier, well, it's a good thing we're on a boat. But here we go. We're moving once again, and you can see the crowds. I understand this is an area where the crowds are usually pretty thick. People are out tonight. We have some areas where it's a little bit thin, but they're cheering again. They're ready to get some beads and stuffed animals. We've seen all kinds of stuff. They have, I'm actually wearing right now, if we can get a shot of it here in just a second, but the special throws, we have the Endymion beads that light up, and plenty of people are asking for that. I've seen a lot of people asking for cups tonight, but a lot of people came out with their family. The rain obviously did not stop them. And these riders, you can see all of the beads here on the float. They are packed down. They were like this when we first arrived. It was raining, and we walked on bags and bags.
Streets of New Orleans tonight.
Wet streets, but dry skies right now. So
that's really all that matters.
Yeah, that's definitely all that matters. It's great watching this right now because the rain stopped. It was an ugly afternoon, but parade rolling, crowd starting to pick up at Canal and Jeff Davis, and we're just excited. Endymion's rolling tonight.
And you can see the Captain Eddie's SS Endymion making its way down the street. The smoke coming out of the top. This is always one of the fun floats part of this parade, and these guys are always pretty pumped up.
It's a great shot with that smoke too.
This float right here is 240 feet long. This is the longest float in Mardi Gras. It's 3 units.
Wow.
In tandem. So more than 200 riders. This is where, when I was talking a little bit earlier about the fiber optic lights, I mean, look at this float lit up. You can see it coming a mile away, but this float has so many fiber optic lights on it. It's got, I want to say, more than 1 million feet of endpoint fiber optic lighting. So this is one of those floats that you can't mistake as it makes its way, the steamship coming down Canal Street.
In this weather too, that's just the perfect shot with that smoke coming out. And guys throwing these beads off there. Let's see if they throw anything on this float.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm so glad I'm with you tonight because you are saving my life.
I'm
Every
protecting
float
you,
that
huh? Kim's job is holding our cheat sheets, and my job is to make sure we don't get hit. You got that?
Woo! I'm always amazed to watch this float. Did you hear that?
You okay?
That was about
That was a
10
big
pounds of beads that just
Watch
hit.
out.
I'm always amazed to see that float make its way around corners. And as it goes down the street, I mean, it's barely clearing the red lights. I mean, you can
Really,
see
look at
it's
that.
barely.
Travis, you can get that. That's a great shot. Yeah. It's
But this is the traditional route, so they know, they know how much or how many inches they have.
You almost have to duck if you're on top.
All right, we are going to toss it over to John Snell and Nancy Parker. Once again, dry in the Superdome, enjoying the beautiful weather there.
Yeah, they're haters. They're haters. I don't know why.
Well, we won't get to see the full effect, though, of the smokestack.
No,
that
we
was a
won't.
fascinating shot.
It really was. I saw one woman holding up a sign saying, "I swam here to this parade route. Throw me some beads." So that's an ingenious way to get
Won't
some
see any.
throws.
Won't see any of that here. And I think we know how to do parades in New Orleans, where. I think what's happening is people are you hear reports of scattered along the parade routes, just sort of scattered crowds, and then when the parade gets there, people have rushed out. Now in Mid-City, of course, and that's we're on Canal Street, not far from Mid-City. There's still sort of a neighborhood aspect to that, so people in some cases just well, let's go see the parade.
And speaking of this, it started out as a neighborhood parade in 1967, and the funny thing about it is the first year, Ed Munez was concerned about weather because it had rained the day before the first year, and so this may be a good omen that after all the clouds have cleared, this looks like it's going to be a fantastic night. Again, we said 14,000 or so folks are going to pack this dome, and they've already begun. Look
Sure,
at this.
and I mean, as you look around this enormous hall, which at one time was the world's largest room, the point was made earlier, and I think it's a good one. This really is Endymion's night. You have people, for one thing, you have people that ride in both parades. That's crazy. I did the Endymion extravaganza one night and then the Bacchus Ball the next. And I mean, you've got to be on some kind of marathon steroids or something. It's really incredible. But there are people who do that sort of grueling schedule, including some of these bands, which I mean, I guess if you're in a marching band, you can just eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because you're walking.
You would think that would be the case. But this has become such a tradition for folks, and they know what to do. They bring their food in, they have their tables set up in no time. I mean, our backs were turned, we turned around, the place was all set up.
It was instant, and the crowd was here in an instant, and it is a dry track down there. And our two sports people, Fred Hickman and Jennifer Hale, are downstairs among the crowd.
All right, thank you very much, John and Nancy. Well, we're having a ball down here, and you're right. This is like a professional parade. It's great. People know exactly what to do. And the funny thing to me, Jen, is when we walked in here, I thought, where's the turf?
Now
Where are the Saints?
This is your first Endymion, right?
It is my first Mardi Gras,
It's your
period.
first Mardi Gras. Fred, you were in for such a treat. We're just getting started. This is just the preliminary opening act. You got the Wise Guys behind us, one of my favorite local bands.
Great.
They often play at Champion Square. What you're about to see, Fred, this whole place is going to fill up, 10,000 people. Endymion's going to come parade through here. We're going to get pelted with all sorts of great party swag like this.
Yeah, this one's the keeper. This is the strong throw of Endymion. So I got mine early on. I'm ready to go. I got my baseball helmet over there. We're in the float start coming through here.
He's got a hard hat, John.
I don't want to be concussed tonight.
So I might dive behind him every once in a while if I need some cover. I hope that's
We'll take care of you. The people already having a good. We saw a guy riding through on a motorized cooler.
Don't you love those?
I've never. How do you even think of doing something?
We
like
gotta get you to know
motorized cooler. We got to find that guy for you. But right now we have some wonderful people who are in a festive mood already. Come on in.
This is Kate, and I believe she is the cousin of the Queen of Endymion, right?
Yes. She looked beautiful.
Tell us a little bit about her. Fill us in.
Wait, sorry?
Fill us in. Tell us a little bit about her.
She is a beautiful young lady, and she turned 18 this year, so she's very excited. smile across her face, and she's had a blast so far.
Were y'all worried about the rain at all?
No, nothing yet. I talked to my parents. They're still rolling out there, and they're out there watching it, and everybody's pulling through. We're ready.
Very good.
Now, she's Edmuna's granddaughter, correct?
Huh?
Edmuna's granddaughter, correct?
Yes. Yes, it is.
How's she keeping the dress dry? Give me the important information here.
I'm not sure. The last I heard, she wasn't going too far in it because the rain was too bad. But I don't know since it stopped, if she got on the floats and stuff like that. So who knows? But it is a beautiful dress when it's dry.
What's Endymion Saturday? Nothing can ruin it, not even the rain.
Anybody. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the evening.
Happy Mardi Gras.
All right, we're going to come back with happy Mardi Gras to you all, too. We're going to come back with more of our live coverage of Endymion, and that's when we return to the Superdome right after this brief timeout.
Fox 8 special presentation. Live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
Welcome back. You're watching the Endymion Super Crew of Endymion roll down Canal Street. This is actually float number 10 in this parade. This is Don Giovanni della Fortuna, a three-part float that is passing us right now at Canal and South Jeff Davis. And these guys are very generous. They are definitely in the mood to
that
throw.
That may be the best float so far. The most. You
got a T-shirt.
They threw a T-shirt to us.
I'm here with Lee Zurich, and Lee is not only saving my life tonight by helping me avoid getting hit by all these beads, but he just caught a really cool Mardi Gras T-shirt, which I've never actually seen anybody catch.
I've never seen a T-shirt thrown off of a float before.
That actually made it all the way to you.
Yeah. I may keep that. All right, this is float number 8.
This is Beauty and the Beast. Again, the theme to this parade tonight is happily ever after, so we're all about fairy tales, and Beauty and the Beast being one of the best fairy tales
all
out
my
there.
daughter's favorite movies we've seen on this in this parade so far. What Little Mermaid we've seen already, Beauty and the Beast. What else did we see?
These guys all look like beasts.
Yeah.
Not necessarily beauties on the floats.
Ouch. You're kind of right, though.
And you know what I've noticed? Just a few minutes ago, we had 3 floats in a row pass us with, just literally back to back, no band in between them. So that is definitely the theme of this night. The bands dropping out, and very few of the bands actually making this parade tonight.
We have seen a few, St. Paul's from the North Shore. I think Warren Easton may have been here, but there have been a lot of the bands that have pulled out as we go to float number 12 now.
A Dream of Heaven.
They did a great job with these floats, too. They're nice.
This is another 2-parter. They call them float 12A and B. Ow! Goodness.
Man, that guy's got an arm, huh?
Okay, thank you. We know you like to be on TV.
Is that Drew Brees on the float? Because he had an arm, Kim.
Lee, I think you must have done an investigative story on whoever is on the top of that float, because they just pummeled you.
I thought that was out of appreciation. That was. Whoa, that's the biggest gross I've ever seen.
And they're masked, so we'd never know.
We'll never know who it is. That wasn't out of appreciation that they threw all that stuff?
I'm not thinking.
Man, that guy had an arm.
I'm not thinking. It's funny because every year, and I say funny, not in a good way, every year people get injured by these beads being thrown so difficult. But who's not throwing beads, who's standing on the front of the float waving at people tonight is Natasha Robin on the SS Endymion.
Natasha's got the tough assignment.
How's it looking out there,
That's
Natasha?
right. I have been standing up here waving at people and throwing a little bit too. I'm happy to report we can see the Superdome. Now we're on Canal at South Greer. Not too many people right here. Of course, this is where the new VA hospital is going to go. So some construction, some wet areas, and we don't have too many people. On the other side of the street, though, we do have some folks here along Canal who have come out. We've been a lull here in the parade for a little bit. And the riders tell me that they are stopped throwing for a few minutes. They've been throwing all night. In fact, one of the guys said, my arm always hurts the next day because I throw and throw and throw when I ride. I never stop. So they are anticipating getting into the dome. Also, one of the riders told me, he said, it's all worth it when we roll into that Superdome to see that crowd. And he said it feels like 30 seconds to go around the Superdome, but he said it's amazing. We'll have much more coming up.
This is a Fox 8 special presentation. Live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
Welcome back live to our Endymion coverage. Lisa, Kim Holden at Jeff Davis and Canal is perfect time, and we've got another float coming up right now, Kim.
That's right. This is Sinbad making its way down Canal Street. This is float number 14, a two-part float like we've seen a lot of tonight. 14 out of 25, so we are more than halfway through this Endymion parade tonight, which is it's definitely moving pretty quickly without the bands between every single float.
Yeah, a lot of floats back to back. Some of these beads are heavy too.
and it's funny because
watch out.
When we're live on the air and the float is passing, I tend to stop talking because I'm so worried about getting hit with one of these bags of beads that weighs so much.
Travis, can we just pan over our way once that float goes by? We just want to show something right here.
And we're going to show you.
Hey, Dave, have Travis pan over our way for a second.
What has been headed this way? And
this is one float's basically worth of beads right here. So.
And we keep telling these people in front of us, stay there. You should be very happy that you're in front of this little riser because we don't even keep all this. We just throw it down to the crowd, or they catch it before it hits us. So.
And this thing flying at you, I mean, that hurts.
Ouch.
It can.
I know you were an offensive lineman.
Yes.
Still, your athletic skills and your abilities
they're showing, right?
are really impressive tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't know about Lisa Ulrich. All right, we are seeing the Frog Prince.
The Frog Prince. All right, here we go, Kim. You better watch.
This is another one of those Disney movies that your daughters love.
Yes, you're right. Kind of, that's the theme tonight. And look at all those lights, even with this rain. I think there was one float where a couple of lights were out, but other than that, the lights have been working in all the floats.
And that's one of the floats. You don't see a lot of fiber optic lights, obviously. It's just light bulbs.
Yeah.
But it still looks pretty good. The big concern with these floats was getting them wrapped and making sure, especially the ones with the fiber optic lights, making sure they didn't get soaked. Because that would have been a disaster for Endymion. Those floats cost so much. We're going to take a quick break, a little lull in the parade, and we will be back with more of our live coverage of Endymion rolling down the streets of New Orleans, headed to the Superdome. We'll be right back.
A Fox 8 special presentation. Live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
All right, we are listening to the Canton High School band, and this band coming in, I'm assuming from out of town.
I think Mississippi. I think Canton's in Mississippi, maybe.
This is a rare sight tonight.
Yeah, it is. The bands are rare. The ones that had to come in from farther away seem to be the ones that are marching tonight.
Yeah, you figure if you make this drive or make the flight, however you got here, you're going to march no matter when this parade rolls.
But we have to say, Kim, that the weather's fine. I mean, basically the first couple of minutes of the parade where we are here, it was drizzling a little, but other than that, you know, the skies have been clear and a little windy, not too bad, a little chilly
but, you
for
know,
us New
I'm really
Orleanians.
bundled up here in a raincoat
and the beads.
And layers, and I'm almost too bundled up at this point to take anything off.
Yeah,
because
you'll fall apart.
This would be very complicated. So I'm going to leave the rain gear on, even though it's not raining outside, and it has turned out to be an absolutely beautiful night. Our next float here, float number 16.
Heart of a Monkey is our next float.
Heart of a Monkey.
Heart of a Monkey.
This is a fairy tale. Not one that I'm real
I don't know this one, yes.
with, but it's about a monkey and a shark that struck up a friendship.
Huh. I haven't seen this one.
Have to get your daughters on the phone.
I'm going to have to ask.
Ellie and Meg
yeah, Ellie, can you tell me what this is about? She'll probably recite the whole thing to me. I don't see any empty spots in these floats either, do you?
No, and nor would I expect to. I think these guys were so anxious to just be able to ride, not knowing that I think that you won't see many empty spots along these floats.
Yeah. And excited to ride on their route, the traditional Endymion route.
And you know, there's a waiting list, I believe, to get into this parade. I don't think that just anybody can call up and say, hey, I want to ride this year. I think it's not so easy to get in.
Which is amazing. I mean, it's a huge parade. All the riders, and as you said, a lot of them come in from out of town, all over the state, out of state. A lot of them come in and enjoy this ride every year.
I'm happy to see this crowd because these people on the streets of New Orleans tonight look so happy that Endymion rolled. That it rolled not too far off its normal schedule. And you know what's going to be crazy tomorrow? The Uptown Parade route with all the parades.
You start at 9 a.m.
Yes.
and they go through Bacchus.
All right, this
Shrek.
is one of my favorites.
I know this one. My daughter actually, Ellie, watched this afternoon.
She did?
She did, yeah, she did.
Look how fantastic
The Shrek on the front, you think people are going to throw anything at Shrek?
I hope
That's
not.
a great rendition of Shrek, too. Watch out. What's that? Some cups flying in the air.
But even the parade, even the floats that don't have the fiber optic lighting are just so amazing in the detail. The amount of work that goes into these. Just incredible. Oh, that's a spear. Watch out. All right, the next float coming. Well, it's a ways down,
Yeah,
so we can't.
It looks like we're missing a band again,
We are.
too,
We're
right?
missing a drill team, the Paint Branch High School ROTC drill team.
So yeah, as Kim said, that's kind of the theme of tonight. A lot of the bands missing. There was some pretty good rain at the beginning when this thing started rolling about 5:30. So no surprise that a lot of the bands were not able to march tonight. As this is the United States Navy Recruiting Command, U.S. Navy Recruiting Command.
Keep that float over at the naval facility
That'd
on the
be
West
great.
Bank.
That's
break
a good question.
Break it out every now and then.
Yeah. That's a great question. Look at the streets too, as we're giving you a good shot, and it's a great crowd out here with all the rain and everything today. This is fun. There's a lot of people lining up Canal Street here at Jeff Davis.
The only difference that you see tonight is maybe you wouldn't have seen in the past is almost everybody is standing up because there's really no place to sit where you're going to have a dry spot.
No, you can't sit.
Even if you put your tent out earlier, which we see a few of them, some of those tents actually blew away because the winds picked up, and even the rain going sideways, you still wouldn't have gotten a dry spot under a tent. This is Cinderella, the next float making its way down Canal
Street. Another familiar one. And look at this, Cinderella in the middle of the float. We'll get a shot of her. This is another great float. They did a great job with this one.
sisters didn't make this year's float. Glad we kept it to Cinderella and the carriage.
Give her her own. She doesn't need to share a float with anyone, right? Cinderella deserves her own float. You know, one thing, you don't see too many ladders along Canal right here either.
No, I'm guessing that the setup was so last minute that a lot of people didn't get a chance to bring their ladders out. I mean, they literally waited till the very last minute.
And we saw a rush, 7 o'clock or so, the rush from people. We don't know where they came from. They were waiting in their car or what, but they came running to the parade.
We definitely have a lull here now. A couple of empty tractors passing, and those are the backups, so that if a tractor breaks down,
if or when
during the float, during the ride, they have one not too far behind, and you can see right
Look
here.
At that one.
This is a super duper tractor making its way.
And here's our next float, Kim, coming. You really get some lulls in this parade this year because of the bands. We were missing another band right there. It looks like East St. John wasn't able to make it because of the rain too. As we get Marusa and the 12 Months, float number 19.
Marusa and the 12 Months. Months. This is a Slovakian.
Did you say monk?
This is a Slovakian fairy tale. Another one I'm not
I'm not familiar with this one either. You have 23 or so floats. You got to dig deep for the last couple, right?
I have this vision of Ed Muniz going to the library looking for fairy tales.
Cinderella, Little Mermaids. I mean, after a while, after like 12, you start running out of things.
Let's pull out Marusa and the 12 Months.
Where did he find that one?
Whatever works.
Because we get a big lull now, huh? As Lee Zurich and Kim Holden are here on Canal, and Jeff Davis. And we got a little lull, as Kim and I were saying. A lot of the bands not participating tonight, not able to. Just the weather at the beginning of the night was just too rough.
All right, we're going to toss it to a quick break now and be back with more coverage live of the Endymion Parade.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
Well, it is a night that the Endymion fans have been waiting for here at Gallier Hall. Behind us right now, they're eagerly anticipating the arrival of Endymion. And I see we had some of the vehicles and some of the lights, and we know Police Chief Surpass just walked in with his crew leading the parade, so we know not too far behind are the big floats.
Yeah, this crowd is eagerly anticipating the crew of Endymion after so much rough weather this afternoon. The rain stopped out here about an hour and a half ago. A little chilly right now, but not too bad. But the crowd started filling in these stands shortly after the rain stopped. And right now, I'd say they're maybe 2/3 full. Not quite as full as they would normally be, but I tell you what, they were looking pretty empty about 2 hours ago. But they've been slowly filtering in as these lead units for Endymion start to arrive here at Gallier Hall.
And what you're seeing going by right now is really the lead vehicles, the emergency vehicles. That's right here at outside Gallier Hall. Mayor Landrieu is here already. We just saw him step in about 20 minutes ago, so he'll be getting a bit closer to the mic in a short while.
And some of these people have come from as far away as Canada, Liz, and we're going to be talking to them as the night goes on. But they're in good spirits, maybe a little bit quieter than normal because of the chill in the air, but they know that they're about to see a great show here as Endymion makes its way to Gallier Hall.
And even though it's a bit chilly, they are slowly starting starting to fill up here, so the crew will be happy when they get here, because earlier we were kind of worried like there's going to be some pretty empty stands when they got here. The theme for Endymion this year is happily ever after, so Endymion fans are getting that tonight because the rain finally stopped. A little gusty every once in a while with the wind, but overall this has turned out to be much better than it was looking a lot earlier.
Yeah, about 2 hours ago people were wondering if they should even roll tonight. I would say they called it just about right, though. It is really cleared away nicely. I don't think they wanted to take a back seat to any other crew. They wanted to get this thing going tonight, and here they come.
Here they come. So we're going to try to get out of the way here so you can get a better view of these vehicles.
And the lead units making their way to Gallier Hall right now. And we've got some music coming our way, lots of police lights, some extra tractors just in case there's a breakdown. But right now everything moving smoothly as they make their way to Gallier Hall.
Close to 2,600 crew members will be going by here. This is the finale to a year's long of a lot of work for these folks.
This is the WVUE bandwagon. The Yad Pack.
Some great New Orleans music.
The truck is full.
They call themselves a Yad Pack.
That's the WVUE bandwagon, the Yad Pack. We see some flambeau coming down St. Charles Avenue.
And here's one of the first floats going by.
The former Lieutenant Governor of the state of Louisiana, passing in front of Gallier Hall.
Jimmy Fitzmaurice on this first float, sitting there taking it all in, getting treated like royalty tonight.
Jimmy Fitzmaurice, the former Lieutenant Governor of Louisiana, passing in front of Gallier Hall right now. Never met a hand he couldn't shake. Sort of a pro-business Lieutenant Governor. Former council member in the city of New Orleans as well. Louisiana State Troopers on the scene. Of course, a lot of extra ones down here. We haven't seen too many. Pretty much all NOPD around Gallier Hall, but this crowd happy to finally see a parade after the rough weather that moved through here.
Right, and like we said, it's a bit chilly. Everyone's got their jacket on, but you know, once the music starts playing, and now that they see the very tip of this super crew heading this way, they're feeling a lot warmer and feeling a lot better. You can see some of the seats back there are empty, but it's you look a couple other places, you'll see it has filled up more on our side where we're standing. Across the way, you can see some holes in the little VIP sections where people buy tickets. So clearly people were kind of reluctant about coming out tonight, but it really all cleared up. So it's a good thing for those who did turn out here. They get to see the Super Crew Endymion, but they don't have too many crowds. They got a lot of elbow room where they're sitting.
And here come the flambeau, Liz.
This is so signature New Orleans, isn't it, whenever you see this?
And behind the flambeau, you've got the old and the new, the old way of lighting up the floats, and then you can see the beautiful LED lights on some of the riders in the back. I don't know if I've seen that before, but that is a great feature, the LED lights on the horsebacks coming down the street. Looks like fleur-de-lis on their chest, Liz.
They look absolutely beautiful. And you know, horses are such a tradition when it comes to Mardi Gras. They're in just about every parade as they roll, just majestic creatures, and their riders looking stunningly gorgeous tonight with those LED lights on their chest.
And behind those riders is a giant fleur-de-lis float coming towards us here at Gallier Hall as it moves up St. Charles Avenue. The parade's got a good pace going at this point.
Yeah, I'd have to say so, because I mean, there's no stalling. I mean, they are moving.
Endymion, of course, one of the first parades to start using LED lights. They said they were going to have more of them this year, and so far I think they're right.
And as they pass by, every once in a while, you'll see Mayor Landrieu talking to some of the riders. The horse is stopping here right now, but behind it, we see a huge crew coming. So these folks are about to be pelted with a lot of the signature throws that Endymion's really known for. You know, earlier this week, we got to look at some of those throws. So these folks are going to get inundated with some really cute things, like the spinning lights. Remember we saw those?
Yes.
That's coming as well. And you know they're going to be generous. They're usually very generous. And here comes one of the first big floats. As we mentioned earlier, it's Happily Ever After is this year's theme for Endymion. This is their 46th year rolling. They've got close to 2,600 crew members. This is a huge crew. And Rob, we know this is just the start of the night for them because they got the big party at the Superdome where John and Nancy are.
Well, these guys have had a lot of parties. They've been partying all week long, and a lot of them were partying earlier today. You know, we had crews out all over town today watching the weather, and people are lining up along the route in spite of the rain. And when you see just how beautiful this parade is, there's really none like it. And folks who had determined that they wanted to come to this parade were going to stick it out, rain or shine. And when they heard that they were going to move forward with it, they decided they wouldn't stay away. And though they were slow in coming to the stands, I think the crowd looks very good and very, very appreciative as they watch this beautiful float come down this way.
This is the captain of Endymion, Ed Munez. A tough day for him, going back and forth trying to figure out if this scene would unfold tonight, and here it is as they throw a lot of beads this way. The captain of Endymion enjoying his ride tonight. The first big float passing by here at Gallier Hall. What a beautiful sight. Check out all of these lights on it.
There we go.
Woo!
That's our first bead of the night, Liz. Got a strong arm there.
Yeah, got to keep the left hand working. So the folks at Gallier Hall getting treated to their first big float. The captain's float going by here. A lot of cups being thrown, a lot of beads being thrown. Well, if you needed a cup, this was a place to be. Lots of cups being thrown here tonight. A lot of Endymion cups will be showing up tomorrow.
All right, and we understand, believe it or not, the back end of this parade is over at Canal and South Jeff Davis Parkway. It's wrapping up there. That's a good 3 or 4 miles long. So let's toss it to Lee Zurich and Kim Holden at South Jeff Davis and Canal.
Hey, Rob. Hey, Liz. We are here at South Jeff Davis and Canal, as you mentioned. And
what's that?
We are watching the tail end of this parade make its way down Canal Street. One of the last floats just passing by a few minutes ago, and one more float coming through here, and then we see emergency lights after that. Maybe a float.
The Snow White.
Still to come. This is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, float number 23. The crowd's still thick out here.
No rain, which is nice. What turned out to be a pretty nice night after 7 o'clock or so.
And as we said a little bit earlier, the marching bands, few and far between here. A few of them have stayed in the parade, but for the most part, this parade is mostly floats tonight. The super crew of Endymion mostly floats tonight.
This will end up being one of the quickest runs of Endymion of all time, just because of so many bands not able to take part tonight because of the weather. And we should point out again that the weather was rough at the beginning of the parade, you know, just after 5:30 when it started. But since about 6:45 or 7, it's been great. It's been fine. The rain's held off. We had a little drizzle after 7 o'clock, but other than that, it's no rain, as Nicandra Norwood predicted this afternoon. She said it'd stop right around 6:30 or 7, and she was right on. And basically, we've had a little wind and a little cool conditions here at Canal and Jeff Davis. But other than that, a nice run is. We've got about one float left for an Endymion in 2012 here at Canal and Jeff Davis.
And you talk about the wind. There was some concern with the wind gusts, especially anytime there's a parade rolling in New Orleans. If it gets a little windy, some of these floats, not only are they tall, but especially with the maid floats, the maids, they have to really scale down their costumes, so to speak.
And we saw that tonight some.
We sure did. We saw the maids going by and just in their gowns. And, Endymion does have some of the prettier costumes of any of the parades. So to see the maids go by without the elaborate costumes that they normally have on, a lot of work goes into those costumes.
But Endymion, a lot of concern about the weather yesterday and today, but I'd say, lacking a few bands, but other than that, a success. They got, they didn't get to ride this route last year. They went after Bacchus, and I know they didn't want to have to do that 2 years in a row. They wanted to ride their traditional Mid-City route. It's so important to a lot of the businesses, a lot of the people who live around this area, and they were able to do it this year.
All right, Mardi Gras towing making itself known along the parade route. And speaking of the businesses, you're right. The businesses in Mid-City really look forward to this night because it's such a big night for them. A couple of the businesses along the parade route opened at 4 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
Some of the little restaurants to cater to the crowds.
We hear you, towing. I'm sure you can hear that at home.
It'll be interesting to see how business was today for those businesses with the weather and the uncertainty of weather.
Well, it started off, the skies didn't look bad, but the weather wasn't, it wasn't too rainy until the afternoon, so hopefully they were able to get some business for some of the day. We have our last float coming here, Kim?
This should be our last float making its way. I might see one still behind it. And sometimes the floats are out of order, and we haven't seen that as much this year as we've seen in years past. But every now and then the floats get out of order. For whatever reason, one takes off ahead of where it should be from City Park Avenue in Orleans. But
it's complicated lining up that many floats too. This is Sleeping Beauty? That's what it should be, I think.
It is complicated lining up so many floats, especially when you have a situation where you're not sure if all the bands are going to be in and you're not sure.
And it's raining.
Right. It does get a little confusing.
And I think this is Sleeping Beauty, yes.
All right, Sleeping Beauty is bringing up the tail end of Endymion at Canal and Jeff Davis to what really turned out to be a very good crowd here tonight for these riders and riders who spend a lot of money to be in this parade, who look forward to this every year. This has got to be just a fantastic sight for so many of them.
And I'm sure around 5:30 they were doubting it, but the rain's held off, so they're going to have a nice ride tonight as the last float passes Canal and Jeff Davis.
It's always nice when the last float pummels you.
And they just did.
Just because they're last doesn't mean
end on a good note, right?
They're last in how much they can throw. Definitely ending the parade on a good note for this crowd out here. It has been a great night here at Canal and Jeff Davis. What started out with a lot of uncertainty for so many people who just love the Super Crew of Endymion turned out pretty good for the folks of New Orleans, for the riders of Endymion, for everyone involved in this crew.
Great crowds out here. Just overall a great night. No casualties for us. Our photographer Travis Alford got hit in the head once, but luckily he has a helmet on, so he is okay, and was a trooper the whole night.
That's right, and he's got his little hard hat going, so he managed to stay uninjured and high and dry here tonight. These crowds will be thinning out here pretty quickly on Canal Street as Endymion makes its way towards the Superdome. All these folks going to rest up for tomorrow.
Yeah, big day tomorrow, especially uptown. They're going to start at 9 o'clock, and with 2 crews, additional crews going uptown. It's going to be a great night, ending, of course, Bacchus tomorrow night should be fun.
But this night is nowhere near being over. A lot more to this ride left. Down Canal Street, down St. Charles, headed towards the Superdome, and a big night ahead in the Superdome for the Endymion extravaganza. A huge party, an all-nighter, if you will. We've enjoyed being here, bringing you the parade live, and we hope you'll stick around for the rest of our Endymion coverage, live from the Superdome, live from Gallier Hall.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
And welcome back to our coverage of Endymion 2012. What you're looking at is a very poignant moment as former Saint Steve Gleason now stopping in front of Gallier Hall. Mayor Landrieu up on the float. The two of them exchanging pleasantries. The crowd just gave a big cheer. Mayor Landrieu now going on to the float. Steve standing on his own power at this point. He's been holding up. See a warm embrace for a man who's become a true hero in New Orleans, been a hero for the last 5 years since his great game against the Atlanta Falcons, but even more so as he deals with the adversity of ALS.
Yeah, what a poignant scene here. Now they're taking some pictures here of Mayor Landrieu and Steve Gleason, someone who's just seen as an incredibly courageous man as he is sharing his journey as he goes through this horrible disease of ALS, but always stresses, don't feel sorry for me, I'm living life to the fullest, as we saw in our Jen Hale special on him. And as he stands here, what a warm welcome from the crowd, yelling "Who dat?" as soon as the announcer said that Steve Gleason is on this float. And as Rob says, Mayor Landrieu coming down from his seat at Gallier Hall to personally thank Steve for being here and giving him some pleasantries being exchanged there.
And Steve, of course, saying it hasn't been that bad as he deals with the tragedy of this disease. He's been enjoying every moment, skydiving and going to the Super Bowl, and now riding in one of the lead units of Endymion. As you can see, he's moving to the crunk song, big smile on his face, thoroughly enjoying this ride.
And when you see a scene like this, given how much Steve Gleason now means to the city and how much he loves the city, you're so happy the weather cleared up so that he could enjoy this moment on the night Endymion was scheduled to ride. Steve Gleason, Anderson Cooper from CNN, another one of the special guests riding tonight with the super crew of Endymion. They've been, sitting here in front of Gallier Hall for the past few minutes now. Obviously, they want to make sure the crowd is really able to soak up this moment, because for so many people, this is the closest they'll ever get to the man who they're seeing as such a heroic individual.
And people now helping Steve hold his fist up. Steve sort of defiantly holding his fist up, obviously intent on trying to squeeze as much out of life as he possibly can. And of course, the crowd definitely warming up to his appearance here. I gotta say, a great run of celebrities so far as Steve Gleason passes by our float. You can see him waving to the crowd. Definitely an inspirational sight, Liz.
He really is, and what a warm welcome from this crowd here. He is so loved. And now we're looking at the float carrying the Maids of Endymion. As we told you earlier, Endymion, when they say super crew, they say super crew for a reason. 2,600 members. And we're looking at the float now carrying some of the Maids of Endymion. We're eagerly anticipating the floats with the Queen. This year it is Erica Dakin. She is a granddaughter of the crew's Captain Ed Munez. And if anyone's thinking, oh, that's how did that happen? Well, it was selected during a lottery draw. And of course, we're hoping to see soon as the floats go by, as you see the Maids going by here of Endymion, the first African American to ever serve as the king of Endymion will be coming by here as well, George Lafargue, who is just overwhelmed when he first heard that he was going to be the king of the super crew of Endymion. And this is just the beginning of the night, Rob. They're going to be partying really late.
Yeah, and there's a number of maids here. We should point out that some of the maids are Nikki Elizabeth Darkangelo, as well as Miss Sarah Garrett's Treadaway, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Eric Treadway, a senior at Ursuline Academy. And they just look beautiful in their gowns up there. They're moving around quite freely. I don't know whether they usually wear a big headdress or not, but they don't have them on. Perhaps it's a little too windy tonight for those.
I know that is was something that the VP of Endymion mentioned to us earlier this week as they anticipated the weather. They wanted to make sure that the big headpieces, which could easily move, wasn't going to be a factor. So they may have had them take those huge, beautiful headpieces off.
And here comes the Queen of Endymion.
The beautiful Erica Dakan. What a great night for her this has turned out to be. Looking beautiful up there, the Queen of Endymion for 2012, Erica Dakan, the granddaughter of the crew, Captain Ed Muniz, selected by a lottery draw. She said, remember Rob, she was telling us on the morning show that from the day she was born, they had her on that list, hoping that one day she would be selected. And when you asked her, when did you know you were going to be queen? She says, I guess when I was born.
Right, which is pretty good that she had knowledge of that the day she was born. But Miss Dakan is a senior at Archbishop Chappelle High School. She plans to attend LSU in the fall. At Chappelle, Her Majesty is a member of the Student Council. She's listed on the Distinguished Honor Roll and is a member of the Art Honors Society. She's also an active participant in school and community organizations, taking part in Habitat for Humanity, the Pro-Life Club, the Divine Mercy Catholic Youth Organization, and the Chappelle Animal Rescue Effort. And right behind the Queen,
it's getting a bit closer, but getting back to the Queen, what an incredible night for the father, who is right there beside her, the VP of Endymion, Darrell Dakan, the son-in-law for Ed Muniz. So he was saying, not only am I planning all of the big festivities, but my daughter is queen as well this year. And we were joking and we were asking him, when your daughter is queen, is that an extra duty? He says, no, I just give them the credit card and the cash. Go buy the dress, do what you need to do. Just look beautiful.
And Liz, we had them both on the morning show on Friday, and I got to say, he was as cool as a cucumber. Everybody was worried about this weather and wondering whether this parade would roll. And, for a man whose daughter is, ascending to a pretty prominent position there, he just was really unflappable.
Yes, he is. He had faith, he said. He was looking at the models and he kept listening to Dawn and Bob and everyone else. So he had faith that this was all going to work out. The Queen is now giving her toast. We're going to swing our camera around so that you can get a shot of that.
Most beautiful Queen of Endymion, Miss Erica Marie Dakan. The traditional breaking of the glass. Well done.
And there she is, throwing the glass down on the asphalt of St. Charles Avenue. Traditional toast for good luck after she receives a cheers from the mayor.
We're going to be right back with more of our special coverage here on Fox 8 News. Endymion 2012 coverage. Back in a few minutes.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
Welcome back to Fox 8 Endymion Extravaganza. You're looking at a scene now of the King of Endymion, the first African-American to serve as the King of Endymion. George Lafargue has the honor this year.
And he's just wrapping up his toast with Mayor Landrieu, tossing his champagne glass down to the street of St. Charles Avenue. A very, very proud man, a 7-year member of the crew of Endymion. He is a native New Orleanian, selected in the organization's traditional blind draw fashion by the Queen, Erica Dakan, at the crew's recent coronation ball, with several hundred other members who each year seek the royal opportunity. Endymion Monarch 46 is a graduate of Francis Nichols Senior High and is the owner of George's Produce in Terrytown. So extremely proud. A lot of guys have been in this crew for a long time. 7 years is a pretty good run, but to serve as a monarch of Endymion, certainly a great achievement for George Lafargue, especially since he's the first African-American monarch of Endymion.
And you know what's really cool for him, Mr. George Lafargue Jr.? Not only congratulations for being the King of Endymion, he rides in Zulu as well. So he's a Zulu member. So talk about having double honors and double perks when it comes to Carnival 2012. What an amazing experience this man's going to have, the pictures he's going to have, the stories he's going to have to tell.
And what a great weekend.
Hope he can survive it all.
Yeah. And now here comes one of the great traditions of Endymion. This is one of the oldest floats in Endymion, and of course it's the steamboat. In its time, one of the largest floats in Mardi Gras. Now it's still pretty big, but a little bit dwarfed by some of the other floats that there are here. I believe our Natasha Robin is going to be on the front of this float. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of her. There she is. Yeah, she's waving to us. Right
there she is.
I see her.
Natasha looking gorgeous tonight, all decked out in her jewels. Her hair is up, the gown is on. What a great time for her to be riding with the Super Crew. And I know they're celebrating this because earlier, as you know, Rob, it was raining a little. But look, no rain. They're rolling. They're on St. Charles Avenue.
And she was worried about that, but I think she's looking good.
And these guys, you can tell, they're having a great time after what started out to be a miserable day for them. And they are extremely generous. The big bags that they're throwing this way as they pass Gallier Hall here.
I've ridden with these guys before. They're unbelievably generous, and of course we are being pounded like we haven't by any of the other floats.
And I'm not talking about beads, we're talking about bags. I see the mayor cashing some of the beads over there as well. So no shortage of beads tonight if you're sitting here on St. Charles Avenue as the Super Crew of Endymion goes by.
Papa Joe's SS Endymion making its way down St. Charles Avenue. Let's listen to another one of the great bands.
They sound great. They got their red, rain gear on, but sounding great.
I believe this is the Xavier Prep High School Band. The Go-Go's. And as the big floats keep getting bigger here on St. Charles Avenue, we're going to let you get one last glimpse of this beautiful LED. Float number 2, welcome to the Mardi Gras. And we'll be back with much more of our 2012 coverage of the Crew of Endymion after this break.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
And welcome back to Gallier Hall as Endymion keeps on rolling by. We're looking at the band from St. Mary's Academy right now. Got their clear ponchos on just in case it rains again. But Liz, I got to tell you, I think the rain is gone for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, the only concern now is just it's a little bit chilly. But, once that music gets going, you start dancing, you get warm real quickly. And with the band playing such great music, how can you stand still when you're watching these bands go by?
Let's give them a listen. And coming up behind St. Mary's is a beautiful tidal float, Happily Ever After.
And that's what we were all hoping for today, that there would be a happily ever after when you consider the weather conditions that we started out with today. Flash flood warning, tornado watch, and look, happily ever after. It's dry.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this crew is very aptly named. This is a 3-unit tandem float with more than 1 million feet of computer-driven fiber optic lights on it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It looks like almost a completely new float. Sometimes, Liz, some of these floats you think you've seen before, but this one looks very, very different. It depicts an Art Deco fantasia of shimmering purple, green, and gold in a sweeping wave 114 feet long that heralds the parade's theme.
Every year they just have to find someone that can just become more creative, and every time you think they just continue to become more creative and more beautiful every year, and these LED lights are absolutely stunningly beautiful.
and they say they want to do more of them every year. You know, in the old days, and sometimes you see the old line crews, they just sort of have screw-in light bulbs on them, and those have their own appeal. It sort of takes you back, but Endymion really setting new standards just about every year as they continue to evolve with more and more LED lighting.
It's amazing. I mean, I don't know if TV does it justice, but when you're here in person and you see these LED lights, and it's just absolutely beautiful on these floats, it just brings a whole new dimension to Mardi Gras floats as they go by. It'll be interesting to see on Tuesday to see if, you know, anyone else is trying to have the same effect as well on Fat Tuesday.
You see them. I mean, they show up in other floats, certainly more effective at nighttime than they are in the daylight. But yes, it is definitely part of the changing image of Mardi Gras that you see more and more LED lights.
So far the Super Crew has gone by. We've seen the Queen, Erica Dakan. We've seen the King, George Lafargue. We've seen former Saints Steve Gleason, who got an incredible warm welcome here. So I would have to say this is moving by, not quickly, but it's at a good pace.
Definitely moving at a good pace as we look at float number 4 now coming by. This is Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
And this really fits in perfectly with Endymion's theme for 2012, the theme Happily Ever After, featuring a lot of storybook characters, Hansel and Gretel, Cinderella, and the folks along the parade route will be getting a glimpse of a lot of these familiar characters that we're used to from our own childhood, from seeing them in the stories, and they're really the focus of a lot of these floats this year.
And not to mention, Liz, what a great parade for young children, and I think a lot of parents kind of kept the young ones away tonight, which is unfortunate, but hopefully a lot of them are watching our coverage right now, enjoying the parade as these very recognizable characters come sashaying by.
Yeah, there are some kids here, no doubt, but not as many as you would usually see. And getting back again, it's probably the weather that had a lot of parents concerned about bringing them out, and that would be one of the reasons that we're not seeing a lot of them here tonight. But the folks that are here are having a good time, and if you're not here, you're missing a lot of throws.
Yeah, a little chilly, but not freezing, and if you kept yourself dry when the rain came through, I don't think it's too uncomfortable for the people that come out here. And I gotta tell you, Liz, the stands seem to be filling up just about every minute. We were saying they're about 2/3 full a while ago, but they might be more so now, I think.
And you're looking at the float number 4, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We've all heard that story as kids, and now we've got the float that has brought those characters to life here. They've done a great job with Goldilocks, and I guess that would be bear number 1, or bear number 2, or bear number 3, not sure. You know, I'm just looking as the float sits here, and, you know, they're throwing a lot, but when you look behind them to see all of the other goodies that they still have there, you can see why it takes so many hours for them to load up these floats.
And that's what they've been doing the last couple of days, of course, in the convention center this year. Instead of their traditional den, give the crew members a little more room to move around in. And, you know, you just got to recognize the logistics that it took for them to pull this thing off with the weather we've had the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, the floats look no worse for wear at all.
No, they don't.
They look absolutely dry. The riders look comfortable. Nothing looks askew.
Just look gorgeous on these floats, and I know they were determined to roll tonight. Didn't want to have to roll after Bacchus as they did last year. And part of the reason I'd heard to is that the Grand Marshal Maroon 5 couldn't be here tomorrow, so they really wanted to roll tonight to give the Grand Marshal that opportunity. And boy, are they looking good.
I see one of the riders has one of those little light-up helicopter things. That's one of their signature throws this year. So many people on these floats. I mean, there's enough to wear. I don't see too many guys taking a break, but
we are going to take a break. We're going to be right back with more of Fox 8's Endymion 2012 live coverage from Gallier Hall along St. Charles Avenue. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
And we welcome you back to Fox 8's coverage of Endymion 2012 as float number 5, the Wizard of Oz Wicked Float, comes by Gallier Hall.
it fits in perfectly again. Happily Ever After theme, featuring a lot of the characters we've all seen in our storybooks that our parents read to us.
The Wizard of Oz, a children's novel written by Frank Baum, illustrated by Denslow, originally published back in 1900.
And look at the detail on that witch. I mean, that is amazing. The work that went into that.
Is everyone all right?
I think I just lost my head from that bag.
Bomb. Unbelievable. And the floats are getting more generous as
they are.
by, Liz.
And some really popular. Wow, I love those lights. Those are really cool.
So not only they have LED lights on the floats, but they throw them from the floats too. I mean, they're big in LED.
Those are going to be popular.
Yes.
Definitely going to be popular.
And coming behind that big float, another one of the great bands. I'm not sure it's in order at this point. It's supposed to be the Citadel Rifle Legion drill
Those
team.
guys went by already.
I don't believe that's them.
And that happened, throughout the day because some of the bands could stay, some of the bands couldn't. So I'm sure they had to do a lot of shifting around as they try to figure out if they were going to be able to roll tonight. But we are thankful for the bands that are here. These kids are putting on an incredible show. Look at them go. And they have been walking for a couple of hours now, and they're going to be going all the way to the Superdome where our colleagues John and Nancy and Jen and Chris Franklin, and they're all there to continue our live coverage tonight because this is just the beginning of our coverage that we're bringing to you live from Gallier Hall here as they head into the big Superdome for the big party. Wait till you see the pictures from there when they get inside.
Yeah, they don't call it the extravaganza for nothing. One of the world's great parties, a great lineup of bands inside there. It will be packed as usual. One of the hardest to get tickets in town as we watch more floats come back. This is the Little Mermaid, and she's looking beautiful there in the front of this huge float once again.
It's amazing the detail that goes into creating these floats, and when you look at the Mermaid, for example, the work that went into that, all of the detail, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Little Mermaid, a popular fairy tale by the Danish poet and author Hans Christian Andersen about a young mermaid willing to give up her life in the sea and her identity as a mermaid to gain a human soul and the love of a human prince. And I think she's getting a lot of love here in New Orleans tonight.
And if you're visiting from out of town and you didn't know what the carnival colors are, you get it. You get it when you hear vibrant, beautiful colors on the floats, the purple, the green, the gold, and these guys just look amazing tonight. And so glad they're able to do this on the night that is designated for them. The rain is gone, the skies have cleared up, and it's just turned out to be perfect. The later they were able to hang out, it turned out to be perfect.
And I was at Hermes last night, Liz, a beautiful old parade. But I got to tell you, each one of those floats in Hermes, which were beautiful once again, only about 1/5 the size of this Little Mermaid float that's going by right now.
Definitely living up to the theme, super float, super crew, and that's what Endymion delivers. And that's why people really wait for this every year, even in the rain, camping out.
All right, so all the floats aren't the obvious fairy tales that we all enjoyed as kids. This one is called Urashima Taro, a Japanese legend about a fisherman who rescues a turtle and is rewarded for this with a visit to
Ryujujo, the palace of Ryujin, the dragon god under the sea. Stunningly beautiful float.
And just as big as the one that went by before, just as generous, and people still wanting more beads, although I don't know how they
they're being really generous here to this crew here at Gallier Hall.
Float A has the dragon god prop. Float B has the old fisherman himself, and the old fisherman making his way now toward the Superdome for the big extravaganza where the rest of the Fox 8 crew will be with us a little bit later on, but we'll be right back here at Gallier Hall after the break.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
9 o'clock now. We are 2 hours into our continuing coverage of the Endymion Parade and the extravaganza to follow. We'll be on the air for another 2 hours, bringing you the best of this wonderful parade, one of the biggest parade of Carnival, as she continues to roll by here at Gallier Hall.
This is Endymion's 46th year, and it's no doubt about it when you sit here and you watch this. I should say we're standing, but it's gotten amazingly bigger in terms of everything that they do, from the floats and the characters and the costumes, and just amazing.
When you see all the work that went into this parade, you can understand the determination to roll tonight.
Right.
Although a lot of people were scratching their heads a couple of hours ago. It turned out to be a beautiful evening here at Gallier.
And it's, so many people are impacted if they decide they're not going to roll tomorrow night. And so much, like you said, went into the logistics to make sure that tonight was the night that this was Endymion's roll. I understand last year from people who were along the parade route, I mean, they were waiting for quite some time to see Endymion when they had to be switched to a new night, which was Sunday.
Yeah, they rolled after Bacchus. Certainly a lot of pride in rolling on Saturday night. So many crew members come from all over the country. I had some friends who lived out in California years ago. They came in every year. They brought a friend of theirs who was a cancer patient, actually, paid his way to come ride this crew. Just one of the many stories of the people who come from all over the country to take part in this great parade year after year after year. One of the floats totally dedicated to people from Baton Rouge. It's got like 350 members on it.
I know, and that's why some people are saying, well, why can't they just cancel? Why can't they just go another night? Because logistically, too, you've had people that flew in. You had the Grand Marshal. You have other celebrities. So everything is interconnected. And then you've got to coordinate that with the City of New Orleans and the NOPD. So there's so many factors when it comes into getting a crew to roll on the night they're supposed to roll.
And Liz, we have a special guest, two special guests up in our booth with us tonight for Endymion. Our own Dawn Brown with your little friend.
Yes, I'm here with Mr. Quick, but he's doing pretty well actually.
And Quick did not want to hear us staying in tonight. Quick wanted to be here for this parade, didn't he?
The rain did clear perfectly. It didn't, not as perfectly as we wanted to. We had a few more showers after the 5 o'clock hour, but gosh, once it cleared, when I was headed down here, the traffic was enormous trying to get down to this parade.
And you had Quick in the back on a backpack, but you brought him out front, and he looks like he's thoroughly enjoying the parade at this point, right?
I'm trying to catch bees, Rob.
You're slowing her down, Rob. She's trying to take in the parade.
And of course, Dawn is now busy with Captain Eddie's SS Endymion. Steamboats are coming. A familiar refrain heard up and down the Mississippi River in the late 1800s comes alive as Captain Eddie's SS Endymion rolls by Gallier Hall.
It looks like the real deal, doesn't it, when you see the back of that float there with that steamboat?
Yeah, we were looking at the other steamboat. That was one of the early floats of Endymion. This one came along and kind of blew the other one out of the water, although I know a lot of the guys on that float, they still love it and ride it year after year. But this newer version of this steamboat, 240 feet in length, it is the longest float in Mardi Gras. It's a 3-unit tandem float, carries more than 200 riders and more than 1 million feet of endpoint fiber optic lighting.
And it looks as though as soon as these big tractor trailers go by, we've got another huge float that is coming down. It should be, if they're in order, float number 9, which would be Jack and the Beanstalk, another very familiar character from those stories that we heard in our storybooks when we were kids.
One of my favorites, Jack the young lad living with his widowed mother. Their only means of income, a cow.
The cow stops giving milk one morning. Jack is sent to the market to sell it. On the way to the market, he meets an old man who offers to give him magic beans, and, the rest is history. Jack and the Beanstalk.
Another gorgeous tandem float.
And there's Jack on the front there, Rob. These floats are packed. When we say they've got close to 2,600 members, you really get a taste of that as these floats go by. They're just stacked on each level with so many people and so many throws. And as they pass by here on St. Charles Avenue at Gallier Hall, they are not just pelting individual strands of beads, they are throwing big bags of beads. So if you got your head turned, you could get it because you're getting a huge bag of beads that you don't have to buy. It's free.
Yeah, I think this crowd's getting in the groove now. They were a little cold at first. We're now 10 floats in. Everybody's warmed up. They're moving around, and they look extremely happy as this very, very generous parade keeps rolling by.
And they look, I mean, they've got a lot of throws that they've got to hang on to. Remember, we're going to continue our coverage when they get into the Superdome, covering what it's going to look like on that end once they arrive there. So they've got to keep some throws there because they're being greeted by a lot of them, their spouses, their many other relatives there to warmly welcome them inside the Superdome for the big extravaganza, which we will continue to bring you live pictures of as they arrive in the Superdome.
And now we have another great band coming by, the St. Charles Streetcar Band, and they are followed by another great marching group with ponchos on. Not that they need it. It hasn't really rained out here for about, I guess, an hour now, Liz.
Yeah, I think the rain has passed. Reason to celebrate. Woohoo! I'm glad to see the marching bands were able to stick around. I'm sure a lot of them may have been thinking twice when that rain started pouring down today.
And coming up behind this band is Don Giovanni della Fortuna. Not all these tales we've heard of before. They sort of reach around the globe as Endymion strives to keep things interesting. This is a story about Don Giovanni squandering the fortune his father left him. He'd grown up accustomed to a lavish lifestyle, complete with a castle, exquisite food, servants, and extravagant parties. And although he lost his parents at a young age and missed them terribly, he liked to think that he carried on with their values, especially their generosity, love of the arts, and carefree ways.
And there's always a handsome stranger coming along with money in all of these fables, as is the case here. A handsome stranger comes along, offers him a magic purse that can produce an unlimited amount of gold. Wouldn't we all like that?
And it's as if they have an unlimited amount of gold as they continue to throw tons and tons of beads to these crowds who bought tickets to attend the parade here at Gallier Hall. One of the few places along the routes where people actually buy tickets, and we might want to point out that these tickets used to be available on Ticketmaster. They now sell them here behind the stand, so a lot of people coming by, see how cool it is in these stands, and can now buy a ticket. They also have a covered area to go to if it were to rain again.
Look at the size of this float. This is massive.
It's one of those three-parters, three ships.
As we dodge bullets here, literally.
They are right on the mark with their throws. We're just starting to get bombarded now.
Wow.
The bigger the float,
the more you're going to get beads and bags of beads. I got to tell you, the colors are just spectacular here as you see this in person. They're just absolutely gorgeous how brilliant these colors are. People are getting quite a show here as they take in the beautiful Endymion Grand Super Crew as they pass by here on St. Charles Avenue in front of Gallier Hall.
Thank you, Don Giovanni.
And that is one of the largest floats I think we've seen all night.
It takes up half the block. It's unbelievable.
No, the challenge is always trying to figure out how they're going to get around the corner. I always find it fascinating to watch them as they try to turn the corners with those huge super float. I need some skill to do that.
And you know, in the old days, they used to get stuck quite a bit on those turns, but they got it down to a science now. There have been absolutely no interruptions in this parade. I'm knocking on wood right now because that is the bane of any Mardi Gras goer's existence. But Endymion, in spite of the adversity of earlier in the day, is rolling along perfectly right now, and will continue to do so as we watch this next float come in front of Gallier Hall. We got much more coverage coming up for you. 2 hours more of Fox 8's Endymion coverage, all leading up to the extravaganza in the Superdome with the Fox 8 News team waiting for you there. But we'll be right back at Gallier Hall after this break.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
Endymion has reached the Superdome, at least the first units, at least the police units, the lights coming into the Superdome, and what an amazing sight as this is just the beginning of a night that's going to be incredible, John.
Sound gets swallowed up in this building pretty easily, but this sound is one of the great spectacular scenes of Mardi Gras. Is the police motorcycle unit making its way in and filling the Superdome with that sound. They try for 9 o'clock to get into the dome. That's sort of the unofficial goal, maybe about 8:45 to be outside. And given all that they were up against today, pretty good timing if you think about it.
It really has been a spectacular effort by Ed Muniz and his groups, and it's really a coin toss. You know, do you take the risk and roll, or do you wait it out? And they made the right decision tonight. I don't think there's 1 inch of space in this Superdome other than where you see the police units rolling. This
Not
is
on
a
the floor.
crowd.
Well, I think it's a testament. You know, you don't normally get good crowd control with 14,000 people, but they made the announcement, hey, the parade's coming, and everybody got out of the way.
I think I see Police Chief Ronald Surpass there. Is that, or maybe not, backing up the group?
I don't think he's got to hoof it or hoof it. Quite a sight. You would think that they were about to throw out the first pitch of the World Series or kick off the Super Bowl.
Well, it is Mardi Gras' first pitch, pretty much.
Just here in the Louisiana Superdome and the Mercedes-Benz Superdome with 14,000 of our closest friends. And Endymion has made its presence known.
He is here. And as the police units head back out, they've signaled that everything's clear inside the dome for the floats to come in, and this is going to be a spectacular sight because the lights that we're seeing out on the parade route are even more vibrant inside the Superdome tonight.
Well, I agree with Liz and with Rob, who have on a number of occasions tonight mentioned just how spectacular the crew have been. I think you talked about, they seem to outdo themselves every year. These floats are designed to be nighttime floats. They are, the lights are part of what makes it. It's a different sort of approach, obviously, than Rex and the pageantry of Rex, but they've got some pageantry and a great theme this year.
Right, and Ed Muniz told me, he said, when you see the parade this year, it's going to blow you away. But he says that every year. So I'm like, okay, tell me
but it does.
new.
But it does.
It really does, and the craftsmanship every year gets a lot better and better, and the theme is something everyone can relate to, young or old tonight. And for 14,000 people, this crowd is pretty quiet. They're waiting for the big show.
It's like the offense has the ball and the crowd has calmed down. It really is a good bit of anticipation. We normally have the national anthem. We're not exactly sure how they'll do it tonight because of the rain delay and because of some of the changes, some of the bands not playing, some not showing up. We're not entirely sure. Some things out of order normally happens, but a little more so this year. So we'll just kind of hang and see how it goes. But the first units coming in now.
Says that he has to pinch himself every year when he rolls into the Superdome to see what has been a culmination of so many decades and decades of building from 1967 until now. The first parade in the Superdome in 1981. And after all these years, look how far it's come. It's changed a bit, but I think a little for the better in some parts.
Well, I figured out a little while ago, this is my 18th Endymion, 18th Endymion extravaganza. And I think any adult who enters this building for the first time, you kind of think of the kids who play football games here in either high school playoffs or in some of the college games. And if you're not a child, the first time you enter this building, I think you can think about it. It is still, even though it's now, 35, 36 years old, it still is such an awesome building. Jimmy Fitzmaurice, former lieutenant governor, former city councilman, who had so much to do with this parade gaining its permit back in the day, being saluted tonight, 90 years young.
Yes. He was the last lieutenant governor to preside over the Louisiana State Senate, rising to the rank of major in the U.S. Army, instrumental in securing the site, which would later become the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So it's sort of appropriate that he's rolling through here tonight.
Endymion always very much in touch. I think that's one thing about it is, as you point out, you know, it began with such modest beginnings, but very much in touch with its roots, even though it gets bigger and bigger all the time.
And you know what? Jimmy Fitzmaurice was instrumental in actually helping the crew of Endymion secure a permit back in 1966, so I think they owe him a little bit. His float should have been bigger. He has his two granddaughters on this float with him as well.
Again, the bands are out of order, but I believe that's Warren Easton.
They're very happy to be in this place, but lots of energy.
Captain's float actually coming into the dome now. May not be in your sight yet, but we see it coming into the chute.
And we are underway.
See the captain's float. It's a little. He's got a couple lieutenants up there. You know, some pages maybe. They do it good. They do it big here.
Absolutely.
And you can really see. I think the one thing we haven't said tonight is, you know, their motto is "Throw until it hurts."
It hurts already.
And from a distance, man, the stuff is just flying off that float.
The captain leading this wonderful parade of classic tales, ending happily ever after.
You know, we joked earlier this evening that by the end of the day, with all the concern, a little bit of controversy about whether they should parade, that Ed Muniz would be on the tractor, you know, piling it in by himself. But you know, maybe it's a tribute to modern meteorology, but they have certainly little pyrotechnics here.
I don't know if I've ever seen fireworks in the dome.
Something new. Anyway, a little bit of controversy about whether they would, you know, parade, whether they should parade. It's really worked out.
Well, they lean a lot on meteorology and a lot on hope.
A little bit on prayer, a little on hope. And Nancy, I mean, obviously everyone here very excited that they made the decision to go. Typical captain's float with a couple of pages and a couple of riders. 100 crew members on the Captain Endymion float. It's interesting just to listen to the sounds of this place. The fireworks from pyrotechnics, Endymion announcing his arrival.
Somehow they managed to outdo themselves every year, like we said. Thought that they'd have fireworks inside the Superdome, a fire marshal's nightmare, but they worked it out.
With 14,000 people. You know, and the other thing is they got about an hour and a half late start today. So to be here essentially on time, I think, you know, they did cut the parade route a little bit. Some of the local bands did not participate, and we don't see all of the bands here because sometimes they don't bring them all in to the dome itself. But, you know, obviously they were booking to get here on time. This has been a very fast pace tonight to this group.
And we'll be back with much more of Endymion 2012 inside the Superdome in just a moment.
Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
This is not the kind of parade you'd see in Des Moines, Iowa, but we are under full attack here in the Superdome with beads flowing.
Fred Hickman, who's downstairs with Jennifer Hale, had his Cubs batting helmet on. I don't know if he's pulled it out yet, but he's ready to go. Fred?
Gleason. Yeah, that's right, John. And I'll tell you what, I went to college in Iowa, and I guarantee you we never saw anything like that at the Captain's Quarters behind us. What a spectacular sight. And all 14,000 plus fans, Jen, are having a great time, aren't they?
Only in New Orleans, Fred, and it only gets better from here, too. We're just getting started. The crowd going crazy when Jerry Romig, voice of the Saints, of course, announced that Maroon 5 is entering the dome. A lot of folks very excited to see that group as well as Big and Rich. It's just a fantastical musical lineup tonight, and everybody's very excited. I don't think the weather dampened things here one bit. It is a full house down here on the floor. Everybody's been having a great time dancing, having a blast. What do you think of your first Mardi Gras?
Oh, I think it's absolutely wonderful. It makes my skin just tingle to think about it. And I'm kind of in the same boat as all the people here because they didn't see the parade. They didn't see the floats. They were just in here having a good time, having some food and enjoying themselves. So they're seeing the floats for the first time as well. But I'm absolutely overwhelmed, Jen.
And of course, here we go with the song Crunk, which is like an anthem to Saints fans now at this point. So this crowd's really starting to go crazy now. I just spoke with Barry Kern, of course, the designer of these floats, and he says he's very pleased with how this parade turned out. He's thrilled with the way the Mardi Gras looks this year, and he should be. I think these floats, for folks who are longtime Mardi Gras viewers, bigger and better this year than ever. The lights, the LED lights that we see here on the sides, they're extremely impressive, extremely high-tech, much more high-tech than I've seen in years past.
Well, and as John brought up a little while ago, these floats are built to run and roll at night. And it must have been a spectacular sight out on the street, but it's amazing in here as well. You and I used to sing football in here, watching the Saints go back and forth. But this is something really beyond description to me.
You were a little surprised to see the AstroTurf gone.
Pardon me?
You were a little surprised to see the AstroTurf gone.
That's exactly right.
I tell you what, Chris Franklin and Shelley Brown are also standing by with us down here on the floor. We're to stage left, there to stage right. And let's send it over to Chris and Shelley, who I can see, and I can tell they're having a great time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, guys. And I honestly never experienced the float first entering the Superdome. You get chills when they first come in with the fireworks that have gone up. I don't know if that's new for this year, but it's pretty amazing.
It sounded, from the sounds of it from Nancy and John, it seemed like they keep adding something new and newer layers every year.
Right.
And as soon as the music started, this and Steve Gleason just entered the Superdome.
Now, I thought the party was getting wild earlier tonight when it was about 7:30. The crowd really started to build up here, and then by 8 it was packed on the floor, and everyone was dancing with the wide guys, but it's gotten even wilder.
It has. You should have seen this dance floor. It was shoulder to shoulder people. I was trying to get Chris to do a little line dancing with me.
It wouldn't have worked out if I tried to do a line dance.
But yeah, I mean, these lights on these floats are so vibrant. I mean, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome is absolutely electric tonight. It's amazing how this place can transform from a football game to an extravaganza like this.
I mean, in a formal party to where you're perfectly comfortable in a tuxedo and evening gown, or in shorts and a t-shirt for a football game one weekend.
Exactly. And this crowd is loving this tonight. And I know I'm here with the weather guy, and it was a rough day weather-wise.
It was a long morning. I was in at 4 a.m. It was a long morning, but I tell you what, they held out hope, and I know we were hearing from Rob and Liz and Lee and Kim out along the route, and they were soaking wet, but they held out just like all of the other crowds did. They said it was slim in the beginning, but the crowd started to grow. As soon as the parade started coming down the street, the crowds got there.
What a way to wrap up this night, this big weekend before the Mardi Gras day. And all these people, they're dry, they're happy.
Yeah, that's true. All these folks are dry, unless they had been out on the road. I've noticed a number of costumed folks on the floats have either a poncho or a hoodie, some kind of jacket to have protected them from the rain.
And you know, some of the throws that we were catching just now were a little wet, so you know these guys, they got a little wet on this road.
The little Super Bowl, you were wondering why it was so wet. Well, it was probably from the rain earlier.
I bet so.
I'm going to go with that. I'll go with that's why it was wet.
And you know, these throws this year, it seems like every year they get more and more elaborate. They are just beaming. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break, but more of our live Endymion extravaganza coverage here on Fox 8 coming up after this.
Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
Nancy's a little more observant than I am, because you pointed out that the headdresses are back on. The Maids, who of course could not do that in the elements, but can here inside the friendly climate-controlled elements of the dome.
Absolutely beautiful. You know, we're getting our first glimpse of Endymion 2012, but it's wrapping up at Gallier Hall, and that's where Liz Reyes and Rob Masson are watching it in.
That are so generous with their throws across here, right here from Gallier Hall. We're in what I think the last time we checked, about float 23 should be coming up.
Generous, downright dangerous. They are bombing us. We're in pain here. I feel like my hand's been fractured.
Maybe they think they're being good, but I think really it's kind of harsh getting hit. But we want to step out of the way to give you a good glimpse of what's coming right behind us here. The next float here of the 25 that are rolling. Trying to get a closer look here as the sign gets closer to us, but
it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Looks like the evil witch out there on front.
You got great eyes. Happily Ever After is a theme for Endymion this year, and you've seen a lot of these floats featuring a lot of these characters from the storybook tales we all know as kids growing up. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That evil witch is on the front.
With the poison apple.
Oh my goodness! Look at the work that went into this. It's just HD. If you can just have it in high definition, it's just amazing. I don't think TV really does it justice. I mean, they're looking still gorgeous on TV, but the brilliant colors, it's just absolutely gorgeous, these floats.
And Liz, I tell you what, they've been making such good time flying by here. I don't know if I've ever seen one get by this fast. Looked like they lost a couple of bands.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that earlier. Like, you know, probably some of them said it was just the weather wasn't looking good and just decided to pull out. It's because usually in between these floats you would see a lot of the bands. We've seen some, but not as many as we usually do. Whoa, here comes a Frisbee. Thank you.
was a really nice Frisbee, too, all lit up.
Well, I tell you, for John, Nancy, and all the other folks at the Superdome awaiting the start of the big extravaganza, the music and everything, I mean, it's already started, but let me tell you, y'all have a lot of throws coming your way because these floats are still stacked with so many. So if they thought they're getting bombarded with a lot, that's not it. There is more heading there, where we will continue, of course, our live coverage with the Endymion extravaganza.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they didn't catch enough stuff at Endymion. Most people are so laid down. You can barely, the guy down below us has so much you can barely see his eyes. He's got at least 100 pairs of beads around his shoulders, and he's not alone by any stretch. But obviously a very, very generous crew. One of the most generous in Mardi Gras. So large, so generous that people are leaving with just bag loads of beads from here at Gallier Hall.
And the stand started to fill up, right, Rob? Because earlier, when it was still, a bit breezy and there was drizzling, there weren't a lot of people, but it really filled up. It's like word has spread, or hopefully they're watching our coverage and they're seeing, hey, that's a lot of fun down there. Let's go check it out. But as we looked at the stands right now, it's really filled up a bit. Earlier on, one of the most poignant moments was when former St. Steve Gleason was on one of the floats as a special guest, and this crowd just warmly greeted him, the mayor going up, sharing some words with him, taking some pictures. So it's been really great so far for the folks that have been here along St. Charles Avenue, getting a close-up look of the Grand Marshal, the pop rock group, Maroon 5, and then the King and Queen, Erica Dakan, George Lafargue Jr. going by, and they're continuing to party inside the Superdome.
And you know, when Steve Gleason came by, it was awesome. Mayor Landrieu came out of the reviewing stands, went up into Gleason's float. Gleason actually needing help to raise a fist, but did it a number of times. I'll tell you what, he didn't need any help smiling, Liz, because he was totally thrilled with this wonderful ride that he was having here in Endymion, and perhaps the most happy guy that Endymion did roll tonight, in spite of the afternoon.
Right, so and that's one more reason why we're really glad the rain let up. And here comes Sleeping Beauty, float number 24. Brilliant, beautiful colors on this float. And this
big
is
white knight
really
out front,
one.
slaying the dragon. The blood coming down off the dragon's chest.
They got a lot of Frisbees that they're throwing here on this particular float.
More of the traditional lighting on this float, the old incandescent bulbs, not the LED. I'd say half the floats have the LED lighting. There was that one, the Serpent in the Sea, I think, that was absolutely stunning. It looked like it was sculpted out of clay almost, with LED lights everywhere.
This I love those. Look at those lights. Oh, someone just got that.
It's a big sword.
Yeah, that is absolutely gorgeous.
So not only are they throwing a lot of throws, but they're throwing a lot of high-quality throws as well. There have been a lot of LED throws being tossed here tonight, little helicopters, and the little Endymion mascot as well.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Here's another tradition of the Carnival Parades, the U.S. Coast Guard.
We're going to continue with our coverage here at Gallier Hall. We're going to take a quick break as we leave you with images here of a float with the U.S. Coast Guard coming back. We are not ending our coverage, though. We want you to stick around because our crew Fox 8, I should say, is at the Superdome continuing more hours of this great coverage of our Endymion extravaganza.
We've got every aspect of this parade covered for you with the extravaganza back at the Superdome, and the parade itself now winding up here on St. Charles Avenue in front of Gallier Hall. We'll have much more after the break.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
Back inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and here, Nancy, I've figured out what separates, as we look at the Queen, what separates Endymion.
Tell me.
The Maids throw.
They have to work.
They work it. You know, sometimes your royalty or extended royalty, you're not really, and a couple of them were really flinging it too.
They are. I tell you what, the Queen of Endymion is in the dome and is just greeting her subjects beautifully. Miss Erica Marie Dakan, the granddaughter of the captain and the founder of Endymion, Ed Munez. So she definitely is part of Endymion royalty. And she's a senior in high school at Archbishop Chappelle.
Said she sort of kind of expected to have this day someday.
She knew it was coming. helps to have friends and relatives in high places.
At the other end of the dome, Steve Gleason's float is exiting the dome now as they coordinate between those that are coming in, and this choreographed routine they go through of one float goes out or two go out and another couple come in. And it was fascinating. He passed in front of us. We were up in the plaza section. We're 60 feet up in the air, and I wanted to get a little picture of him on the float. And he turned his back to the camera, and I thought, oh, darn it! And it was fascinating because you could see just the adoration in the eyes of this sea of people in front of him. There's so much meaning. I think it's one of the most significant moments I'm going to take away from tonight is watching that. It wasn't so much looking at, we've seen him throughout the evening, the fun. Obviously, there's just this enormous connection from the way he's handled ALS to, the whole background of having been with the Saints and been a hero to the team.
Well, he's made us all a part of it, and we're going through this with him, it seems, because he's sharing so much with us. I want to remind you that you can see this on the web. We're streaming all of this on the web, so if you can't get to your television or somebody else out of town wants to see it, tell them to log on to fox8live.com, and you can see the whole shebang. And you know what? There's a lot going on the floor. Let's go down to Fred Hickman and Jennifer Hammer.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Yeah, lots going on. And you mentioned Steve Gleason a little bit earlier. Jen, you did a wonderful piece on he and his wife and his family and his plight and his fight against ALS. Everybody on their feet as he came past the grandstand here.
As they should be. This is just one of the most inspirational people I think any of us will have the pleasure of meeting. And I just got to walk up and speak with him for a second, and I said, hey, are you having fun? And he's like, yeah.
He's having a ball.
His wife's been texting me to say, have you seen him yet? Is he doing okay? And I said, he's doing fantastic. A big hello to Michelle. She's on the balcony at Rubenstein's tonight. I don't know if anybody has passed by there, but they've got a no white flags Team Gleason banner on that balcony. That's where she is. And I know it meant a lot to Steve to get to be a part of this tonight. He's having a wonderful time.
Well, he's having a wonderful time, as are we all. And as a matter of fact, this is Lacey, right?
Lindsay, hi.
Lindsay, and you and I have what in common?
This is our very first Endymion ball.
Are you having a ball with it?
I'm having a great time.
Dancing. What's your favorite part of the whole thing?
So far, the parade, actually.
Not the dancing, because you guys were cutting a mean rug out here.
It's the best place to watch the parade.
There you go. Nice and dry and cool.
And this is Casey. It's your first Endymion parade?
This is my first Endymion parade.
What do you think?
It's awesome. We're having a great time.
Okay, could you pick Maroon 5 or Big and Rich? Could you pick one?
Maroon 5, Adam Levine, pretty sure he's coming home with me.
I've been hearing that a lot.
I think he's got more than one.
He doesn't know it yet, but he's coming home with me.
You're going to let him know, huh? Well, you girls enjoy Mardi Gras. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Long live Endymion! Yeah!
Well, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, I guess, huh?
Fred, I know when you signed up for this, you kind of had some questions, but
they've all been answered.
You're afraid to ask now at this point.
That's right. Ask and answer. John and Nancy, back to you.
Okay. All right, thanks so much, guys. You know, as we watch the floats come in, you can imagine there are all sorts of ways that people celebrate. There's lots of champagne and other libations flowing in here, but Meg Gatto actually caught up with somebody who had a motorized ice chest.
Down on the dome floor, people have all sorts of ways to get to their table, including the motorized kind. I've got Rogers and Bryn here. Rogers, tell me a little bit about what you're riding on here.
We're riding on a motorized scooter, and it's 750 watts, and it gets us from point A to point B as happily as we can possibly ask for.
Did you make this?
No, I did not. I bought it from a company based out of Houston, Cruising Coolers, and they do a marvelous job. I'll take you around if you'd like to see.
Yes, I would love to get a tour.
Awesome. Well, this here does hold 24 frosty beverages. It does not have to be beer, but it does hold 24 beverages with an 8-pound bag of ice, and back here is batteries and motors, and it's all fully compact and ready to roll.
And then it comes with a little caboose of sorts for your date to ride on.
My beautiful date there, Bryn Ballard, yes, she rides on the back, and we got our extra beverages back there.
All right, now how much does something like this run?
This runs about $700, and the cooler runs about $150.
So it's a lot of money, but is it worth it to get around on the dome floor?
Definitely worth it. If you go interview some people that have been lugging coolers around, I bet they would say I'd pay that money to not do that.
Now, you guys have only been here a couple of minutes, and people are already stopping you, wanting to take pictures. This is a very popular item here.
Big item, big item. And I was actually surprised that nowhere in Louisiana sells it.
And Bryn, you have to ride side saddle, so to speak, to get onto the cooler.
Yeah, but I have pegs to hold my feet, so it's pretty nice.
That's great. Now, can you guys give us a demonstration?
Sure can.
All right, we're going to take us out.
Hold on, Fox 8.
Way they go. They've even got a tail in. All right, now we'll send it back to you guys.
That's the only way to go. I have a feeling there will be a few more of them next year.
We are looking at Endymion 2012, George Lafargue, and he has been smiling from ear to ear on every mile of this route. And this is a dream of his. He's already a member of Zulu, been a member of Endymion 7 years, gets his name pulled out of a hat that he, not really a hat, but a big popper, that he's going to be the king of Endymion, and he almost didn't even come to the party because he and his wife were tired and they didn't feel well. So
West Bank businessman, member for a number of years now, and in some ways a historic figure now, as reigning as the first African-American monarch. And of course, Endymion, different than Bacchus, Endymion has a grand marshal, but the ruler here tonight, the monarch, is a crew member.
I tell you what, he runs a West Bank fruit stand, and he has had visitors buying all sorts of things since he became king.
Well, as we watch him take his ride, we'll take a quick break and have much more of the Endymion Extravaganza 2012 on Fox 8.
You're watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
Real kings shed tears, and as we're watching George Lafargue, I can say that he has shed a lot of tears. He has cried his eyes out over this miraculous experience, not just today, but since he was named King Endymion. And look at the subjects that he's greeting tonight, 14,000 strong in this Superdome.
Well, as we mentioned, it's such an awe-inspiring moment to ride into this, let alone as royalty, just to be as a rider, to walk, to ride into these nearly 15,000 people. And you think about Maroon 5 and some of the other stars who have been either in Endymion or in Bacchus. Henry Winkler. I always think back to Lauren Green, who, when he went on St. Charles Avenue, the Bonanza Star, 25 years ago, whatever it was, 28 years ago, just looked completely stunned. Could not believe the people. And you're Maroon 5. You've played in theaters, in settings, venues such as the Superdome or the New Orleans Arena, certainly, but you've never encountered anything, even on a night like this when the crowds were maybe a little light because of the weather. You've never encountered just this sea of humanity for miles and miles and miles.
Begging for plastic stuff.
Yes. Well, the experience has ruined me in watching another parade. I watch, the Tournament of Roses parade is just beautiful, but I look at it now like, well, what's the point of that?
You know what? I want to remind you that we have a person on a float, the Papa Joe's SS Endymion, and it has rolled in. I don't know if Natasha Robbins ready to go with us yet, but I know that we have Shelley Brown and Chris Franklin down on the floor a little bit closer. Oh, we do have Natasha. You see her? She's throwing.
She's not doing that royal wave she was doing earlier. She's into it.
Pieces are so excited to hear this band. I like them too.
She has to be careful she doesn't throw that microphone and get caught up in the moment.
And she's showing people that being a reporter really is fun.
It's tough. It's tough work.
Let's go to Chris and Shelley on the floor.
All right, Nancy. We've been catching a lot of throws ourselves. John mentioned the Maids were throwing a lot of things. We found one lady who needs to catch some more. This is an important trip for Dr. Rita Ray from Panama.
Bocas del Toro, Panama. It's a little island in Panama, and y'all all welcome to come to Panama.
But this is your first Mardi Gras.
Like this, yes. This is amazing. This is something else.
But you have been to Carnival in
Rio. Yes.
How do the two compare?
Not even, they're nothing alike. The people there are a wild, very wilder, and like really skimpy clothes. And
we've got some of that too.
It's beautiful here, though. You can't compare the two. One's a competition, and this looks like there's no competition.
It rained up until about 8 o'clock.
Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's in first place over here.
What have you been looking forward to the most? Before you came here, what were you thinking of?
Just that I was coming to Mardi Gras in New Orleans and just experiencing the city and meeting all the people. Everybody's so friendly here.
There's a lot more to come.
I'm catching some bees.
You've got a couple, but we have a few more days of this.
Oh my God.
This is only the beginning.
We fly back to Panama on Tuesday, which is your actual Mardi Gras day.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you'll have a bag of beads to bring home with you.
Yeah, I'm going to Bacchus tomorrow night. So I hear these are the two biggest. They're big. They're big, all right.
If you're only going to see two, those are the two to see.
This is amazing. Y'all are such a friendly state. I love this place.
That's what we like to hear.
We're glad to have you here. And I know there are a lot of other people, first-time Mardi Gras visitors in New Orleans right now.
I'm sure.
And this is the Grand Marshal float. It says Maroon 5, but I think the band already passed us a little bit earlier in the night.
And they'll be singing later.
And there is the King's float just behind us, George Lafargue Jr. And I heard Nancy saying he's a member of Zulu and Endymion.
Oh.
This man
is. Oh, look, there you go. Another one. There, 4. You've got 4.
All right. Do you know what you have to say to catch some beads? There's a little saying.
You should wear a low-cut outfit.
Well, you could do that, but it doesn't work for me.
No.
That doesn't work.
No, I bet
no,
not.
I've got the tie on. No.
Throw me something, mister.
Throw me something, mister.
All right, Dr. Rita Ray from Panama, the country Panama. Let's go ahead and send things back to John and Nancy.
That's great. She's an ambassador for us, I think. She's just one of 15,000 people having the time of their lives.
Yes. We're watching Papa Joe's SS Endymion, one of the oldest floats. You can see how far Endymion has come.
And this, this was a super float back in the day. This was something that when they came up with it, people were awestruck, and it stood the test of time very nicely. But it's just a little squirt now compared to some of the other ones. By the way, we have the Louisiana Lottery coming up, about $50 million tonight in the Powerball. We'll go to that drawing and have more of our coverage.
Coming to you live from sunny Florida. Get ready, America, because this is Powerball. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sam Marlin. Tonight, we're kicking that jackpot up to a guaranteed $50 million. I know you're ready. Remember, there are 9 ways to play in Powerball, so be sure you check those tickets carefully. Alrighty, first number up is 23. Right after that, America, we've got the number 50. Big congrats to the folks at the City of Omaha Roads Department. They pulled their luck and they took home $1 million. Nice going, you guys. Next number up is 28. After that, we've got the number 59. Let's round it out this evening with the number 56. Alrighty, everybody. Now, for your winning Powerball number for tonight, that number is 5. Good luck. And once again, everybody, here are tonight's winning Powerball numbers from all of us here at the Florida Powerball Studios. We'll see you back here Wednesday night.
Fox 8 special coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza, live from the Louisiana Superdome. Now, your hosts, John Snell and Nancy Parker.
And think about this, we're just getting started here. I mean, the really big crews, or the floats, the big ones, are only now entering the dome. I think in the back of my mind, I'll get sick of that song. They played it a little while ago, the Get Crunk song.
You never get tired
after
of
the
Get Crunk.
Saints touchdown song. I think I'll get tired of that song someday, but it hasn't happened yet. And you saw the reaction there. And here, when they played it in the dome a little while ago, people went crazy.
We have seen the King of Endymion come in, the first African-American king. We have seen the Queen of Endymion come in. Papa Joe's SS Endymion, 14,000 people on their feet waiting for this parade, more than 20 units long. This is just a testament to what a dream can become for
Right, the parade with the split personality, you can't really say that it's tiny or small in its dimensions along any of the parade route, but it does have that sort of split personality. There is still, some semblance of that neighborhood parade, its mid-city roots. Then, of course, there's massive crowds on Canal Street. It comes inside, and then in about 45 minutes, I guess, it will suddenly convert into a concert.
A wonderful concert with floats in the background. And if you've never experienced this, which most people may have caught a glimpse at a time or two, but for somebody like Fred Hickman, who has never seen this before, his mouth dropped open when he began to see the floats come in. It's really a beautiful sight.
They are throwing till it hurts. It was interesting tonight as along the parade route, because there had been so much concern about the weather, and the parade would be about a half an hour away and crowds would be sparse. We were getting email alerts and text messaged pictures of sparse stands at Gallier Hall, and then all of a sudden people, I don't know where they came from, but people came out of nowhere. And I think it's I try not to editorialize. We're not supposed to say, hey, yes, it's a good idea, or no, it's a bad idea. But, I know here that there are 15,000 people pretty happy that they did this tonight.
I think we have the Queen one-on-one. Let's
Fred
check
and Jennifer.
down on the floor.
She is the lady of the hour this evening, the lady of the night, as a matter of fact, the whole evening. Congratulations. What was tonight like for you?
It was a blast. Best time of my life. I couldn't have expected anything of what it was. The crowds were amazing. The people were amazing. The weather didn't stop us.
Well, you're absolutely beautiful on the float, but I have to ask you, how heavy is that outfit? It's beautiful and it's ornate, but is it weighty?
Yes, it is very heavy.
Now, I know this is something that you've kind of been probably thinking of for a while, given your family's history with Endymion. Is it everything that you thought it'd be when you pictured yourself doing this and presiding over Endymion? Did it live up to your expectations?
So much more. Honestly, you really don't know what you're getting into until it's over with, and then you're sorry, you didn't look at it more and take more of it in.
Well, you're not done yet. Could you pick a best part so far?
No, I couldn't. It just keeps getting better and better. I said after the coronation ball, it's going to be hard to top it, and so far, the past few events, each one has topped it every time.
So tell us how much preparation actually went into getting ready and figuring out the routine and all those kinds of things.
I practiced my scepter wave with a chopstick for a few hours, a few days, putting the crown on, making sure the hairstyles, dresses fit. So much fun, every minute of it. So
I have to tell you, I'm so impressed. You're beautiful. It doesn't look like the rain dampened you one bit. Did you get wet at all?
Yes. We waited in a truck for maybe like a few 20 minutes throughout the parade, and then we went in when the rain slowed down. But it was still a little drizzly. It didn't stop us, though.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I know you have a party to get to. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, John and Nancy, back to you.
Thank you, guys. It sounds great. It sounds like she had a wonderful ride. And we are watching the pearls and beads fly off of these floats. And you hear them as they crash onto the floor and onto the stands.
We're just a little too far away.
That's the aggravating part, because I like to catch. And I can't get to them. That makes me angry. But you know what? Meg Gatto is right down in the action. And a few minutes ago, she caught up with someone who made a spectacular entrance inside this dome.
wondering what the crowds are seeing when they're making their way into the dome. Take a look, first of all the people coming in, and then they're greeted by a stilt walker here and an Endymion sign with happily ever after. That's the theme of this year's extravaganza. And there's still quite a few people coming in right now. And you guys just got here. Are you excited for tonight? How are you feeling?
Really, really good. My cousin's getting married on stage tonight, so I'm excited.
Wait, what? Your cousin's getting married on stage?
The WVUE contest, she's getting married.
Oh my gosh, that's great. Is that going to be happening, I guess, after the floats arrive?
At midnight.
I know, I'm so excited. So that's going to make this extravaganza even better.
Yep, I'm in charge of taking the pictures.
That's awesome. And then, I mean, you guys have Maroon 5 who are going to be performing and Big and Rich. So, I mean, this is all, you know, wedding and reception and everything all in one, right?
Yep, yep. I'm excited.
That's great. And your cousin that's getting married, so have they been coming to Endymion for a number of years, or why are they doing it here?
Well, they did the contest on WNOE and she won, so she's going on a cruise after.
Wow, she must be pretty excited.
Yeah.
And where's she right now, getting ready?
No, she's at one of the tables up by the stage.
Oh, so that's nice. She's partying before her wedding.
Hopefully not too much.
Let's hope she remembers it. All right, thank you guys so much. So we've got a wedding now to look forward to later tonight. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Megano. And I was thinking a few minutes ago, this would make a fantastic wedding reception. And the people who are getting married on the stage, all they have to do is just walk off and they've got a free reception here.
That's a big cake to buy, though, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's tough when you don't bring something for the whole class.
We're looking at the title float, Happily Ever After, and let's go to Chris Franklin and Shelley Brown.
Well, guys, the party is only, as John had been mentioning, is only just getting started. I'm already tired.
You're tired?
Yeah.
You need to wake up.
It's been a long day.
Well, you were in the studio at 5 a.m.
That's
talking
right.
about the weather, trying to warn folks.
And I tell you what, it was amazing that we were able to get the parade off without a hitch. But
all right, we were trying to grab Ed Muniz.
Ed Muniz, but he's kind of popular.
He's a little busy tonight since he is the captain. And you know what I thought was interesting, when this parade started back in 1967, I was reading back on the history and how they got the name Endymion.
Right.
You know, Ed Muniz went to the library, he researched a lot of things. He narrowed it down to two names, Endymion and Bacchus. And he chose Endymion because, you know, he lived near the fairgrounds in Mid-City, and at the fairgrounds, the winning horse was named Endymion. I had no idea until I read the history today.
I mean, that's an interesting and something else weather-related was that they were afraid about rain on the first ride of Endymion, but it was able to go out and get off without a hitch.
Same as tonight.
And same as this year. Although I think it was a little bit closer of a call tonight.
Whoa, okay.
Okay, that hurts.
Wow. You really need like a face mask or something to protect your face
I know,
and the hard hats,
I know,
especially on the floor.
I believe it was Lee and Kim that said one of our photographers has the idea to bring in a hard hat. I didn't know if the hard hat would go well with my tuxedo, but I think I would have made it work.
It probably wouldn't have matched, but you know that doesn't matter because a lot of people have on all kinds of crazy masks.
You're right.
And
that would have worked. That would have been fine.
With their ball gowns and tuxedos.
I could have gotten away with a hard hat.
And the wise guys have been really entertaining this crowd on the stage in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, and you can see these crew members are getting into it.
And there we go again. We just got a bag of wet pearls.
All right. Chris, you're doing well tonight.
I deflected this one away from your face, so.
Oh, thank you.
I'm trying to keep my co-anchor safe here. We're going to toss it to a break, but we're going to come back with much more coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza 2012.
Oh, my goodness.
is Fox 8's special coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza, live from the Louisiana Superdome. Now, your hosts, John Snell and Nancy Parker.
Sights and sounds from tonight, of course, that memorable moment, Mayor Landrieu with Steve Gleason at Gallier Hall earlier this evening. As Endymion, the heart of Endymion, has rolled into the Superdome here, and some of the I cannot get over how these guys are throwing.
It's crazy, and this is a theme only a mother should love. Happily ever after, and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Coming in. There's Goldilocks. She even likes it. She's saying, throw me something, mister.
Because I think a couple of beads got caught up on
Throw me some porridge, somebody. Wow.
You know, you can go to these parades, you can get so caught up in the crowds and in the throws and everything, you forget to step back and look at the theme, but I think these really are the most elaborate of the Endymion floats that we've ever seen.
Oh, and this is nothing. I mean, I saw some on the route as I was watching the other crews. Amazing. I mean, I just can't wait till they get here.
Well, Fred Hickman is enjoying it downstairs. Let's go down to him and Jennifer Hale.
Well, thank you very much, John. And we're by the Bowmans. We're no strangers to the Fox 8 family. Thank you so much for coming by. Frequent guest on the morning show. How are you enjoying things?
We're having a great time out here. This is one of the best years of Endymion ever. We come out here every year, and I can't tell you how much fun we're having. You're going to be having a good time, too. I know Jennifer is. I can't believe how much stuff she's caught already.
That's right.
I've been busy. I tell you what. Oh, Brad, you got to have a heads up. You got to pay attention. All right, Cheryl, Queen of New Orleans parties. How do you think this Endymion compares to years past?
You know, every year is great, and every year is better than the previous year. So I gotta say, as underwear start coming, it can't get any better than this.
You know you're at a good party when underwear's flying.
Where else can you go to a party with formal dress wear and get some underwear for your trouble? No, this is absolutely wonderful. Everybody's having a terrific time. And when you get to dress up and you get to hang out with all the people in the Superdome, there's nothing like that anywhere in the country, is there?
It's just an incredible time. I mean, and the party's going to go on, Maroon 5 in just a little while. And, I mean, y'all can hear the band in the background. How great is this? It just doesn't get any better. I love my city.
Maroon 5 and Big and Rich. Two good choices, you think, as far as contemporary music that appeals to the popular vote?
Well, it appeals to everybody, and I hear all the different parades are fighting over Maroon 5. And Endymion got them.
So a big get for Endymion.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be fun, great with every year. I'm excited.
Me too. I can't wait to hear them.
Oh, I know. You know, John Snell brought up a point a little while ago in the broadcast saying that every time you think you can't top Endymion, it winds up being topped the very next year. Would that be the case here?
It is. It is. It's over the top. I mean, last year was great. The year before was great. This is the best one ever. I mean, I'm having a great time. Are you not?
Let me ask you about the LED lights on the float, because I'm really impressed with the way they've stepped up the pyrotechnics and the visual look of
Every year the pyrotechnics are a lot better. I mean, we're going to have some great photographs on New Orleans Local and the Fox 8 Facebook page. Every year they take it up a notch. The Kern family does a wonderful job with this parade.
They do. They really, really do. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to impress us. But this city,
you know, we go to a lot of parties, but this is one that we always have marked off on the calendar every year. We do whatever we can do to be at this party.
Now, have we seen you two dance yet this evening?
I can't hear a darn thing.
No, I said, have we seen you two guys dance this evening yet?
No, you have not seen me dance yet this evening.
I think that's a challenge.
I think it is.
God help us all.
The operative word.
If he wants to dance, it took us a year to learn our wedding dance. A year!
Yeah, it did take me a year and a half to learn how to do the wedding dance.
That's all right.
But you got it down pat now, right?
We did get it down pat. It worked out quite well in the end.
Brett and Cheryl Bowman with NewOrleansLocal.com, proud partners with Fox 8. Thank you so much for your time. Happy Mardi Gras and happy Endymion.
Happy Mardi Gras, Fox 8, New Orleans, and everybody in our city.
Thank you. John and Nancy, let's get it back to you.
All right. much. We're watching the Wizard of Oz Wicked float come in. The wonderful Wizard of Oz. And you see, once we get a shot of that witch, she's saying, "I'll get you, Dorothy, and your little dog, too." I love that. No.
And I thought she was saying, "Throw me something, mister."
No, she's angry.
She's kind of got her hands out like, "Hey, I'm not so sure."
Yeah, she looks like she's enjoying the party. She's had one too many margaritas.
There's some great artistry that goes into that.
Fantastic. You know what? We saw that float come in, and sometimes you wonder, what is that perspective like when you see the floats rolling into the Superdome? It must be overwhelming. Our Natasha Robin actually got a look on the Papa Joe's SS Endymion.
It was a wet start to Endymion this year. It was pouring down, raining as we started to roll, and it rained for about 45 minutes, and then the rain cleared. We are rolling now along Carrollton. You can see the crowds here. Pretty big considering that it was raining very hard just a little while ago. But the brave souls, they came out. They're in their ponchos. We've seen umbrellas. We've seen people in costume. The children are out tonight. You can feel the intensity here, and I think now that it's stopped raining, a lot of people are heading out to the parade. And if we could just get a shot of this is probably the most popular throw tonight, the umbrella. Although, hopefully people won't need that anymore tonight. But everything's looking great now that the rain has stopped. The riders, they have their ponchos on, and they're going with it. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm great now. Your weather person said it would stop at 6:30. It stopped. Now it's great.
Excellent. And what do you think about the crowds here tonight?
I'm very surprised, but I figured they'd come out once it stopped. I think as we go, it's going to get thicker. I think you'll see it get thicker and thicker as we go.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to come out now that the rain has stopped. And we're having a great time up here.
Absolutely, we're having a great time.
That's right. We're on float 1, the Papa Joe SS Endymion. And this is a replica of a Mississippi River steamboat. Ironically, in the rain, we are on a boat. So that was good. But we're doing great. We're having a great time up here. And the riders, now that the rain is over, they are having a great time too. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Natasha Robin. What an experience that is to see the crowds as you come in and then to be overwhelmed when you finally reach the destination of this dome.
Well, you know, the other thing that logistically about this is, as we've talked about the choreography involved in getting these big, huge floats, these articulated floats in and out, and it's gotten to the point where they seem to be just bringing one in and one out at a time, at least in a couple of cases, because they're so big they get caught up in traffic.
Well, this is a beautiful float coming in now. This is The Little Mermaid, the fairy tale by the Danish poet and author Hans Christian Andersen. A young mermaid willing to give her life up at sea to experience the love of being a human being. Or either she'll move to New Orleans after this parade. This here on Bourbon Street next week.
Feels like Mardi Gras again.
It does.
Instead of, you know, a tropical storm. Well, they are just getting going in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. We have much more to come as Endymion continues his role in 2012, and we'll be back with more of our live coverage on Fox 8 in a moment.
Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
Nancy just pointed out we shouldn't have a lull here in the Superdome because I think float number 8 is now entering, and we're looking at about 27 floats before the evening is through. So this thing is just really getting going.
Yeah, this is actually the float called Urashima Taro, a Japanese legend about a fisherman who rescues a turtle and is rewarded for this with a visit to the Palace of Rouge. In other words, it's a
to. They always, in these fairy tale and mythical themes, always seem to pull something out from a very popular foreign land story, or story in a foreign land.
This is one of those floats that is so elaborate. You can see the face of this thing on the front. It's just amazing.
You forget there's a concert going on right now, too.
Right.
And a pretty good one.
They're having to fight for attention.
Room 5 will take the stage a little bit later, and then the party will go on. I mean, they'll be kicking people out of here close to dawn.
We're waiting for the Captain NESS Endymion to enter the Superdome. That's one of the older floats as well, but one of the beloved floats of Endymion. Let's go to Jennifer Hale on the floor.
Well, Nancy, John, I have the pleasure of visiting with Miss Elise McDonald tonight. She is your 2001 Endymion Queen, back here for another round at Endymion. Elise, do you come to every Endymion, or is this a special event that you're back?
I do. I come to every Endymion since I was made in 2000, Queen in 2001. It's like a family. Endymion takes you in, and you just become a part of the family. So it's Saturday night in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. It's Endymion night. So it just means so much. I'm honored to be a part of their family.
A Mount Carmel graduate who now runs a successful neurology practice. When you look back at your year in 01, what are the memories that you've held on to 10 years later, 10 years plus?
Well, it feels like just yesterday. It was very similar that my year there was rain. They had to cancel the Mardi Gras. But it makes it so much more exciting, and it means so much to the people that we come out and we throw beads and we have so much fun.
Apparently the weather never changes. This seems to be a constant theme.
I know.
When you look at this year, how has Endymion changed over the past decade?
It's grown. Ed Minez has made it so special. And again, he continues to bring forth so many important, strong women who become queens. And it's a family, like I said.
Favorite Maroon 5 song you can't wait to hear tonight?
I can't wait to hear. I can't remember.
Moves Like Badger, right?
Yes, it's all of them.
I know, me too. Elise McDonald, thank you so much for your time, and have a great time tonight. Happy Mardi Gras.
Thank you. Happy Mardi Gras to you too.
John, Nancy, let's send it back to you.
All right, thanks, guys.
What is it they say? Everybody's having fun.
That's a good slogan. I think we could use it here. You saw some ladies earlier, John, that maybe we should get a picture of them and post it or something. They had on the hard hat.
Oh, that's right, yes. Fred talked about this is the only place you can go to and see the gowns, and somebody will toss you underwear, too. I think my favorite get-up tonight was looking at a group of 3 or 4 women who were walking along. They were in they're very nicely dressed in their gowns, and then they had some sort of veil. The veil was covering up a hard hat.
They're not dumb.
No, they're not dumb, but they're serious about their beads. We talk about the riders and, how they're into it. Some of these people are coming out of here with a haul. And for anybody who's ridden, I think one of the trends, for all the talk about the economy and all the other things, one of the trends over the years has just been for these floats, these riders to throw more and more and more. And, people, we paid a little more attention over the last couple of days, various reporters, because of the concern about whether the crew would be able to parade and the care that was taken in wrapping the floats and all the rest. And I think it was Meg Gatto who came back yesterday and said that there is no place for the riders to stand. They are on several layers of their own throws when they start out.
I don't know if you can get if one of the photographers can get a shot of the beads coming off of this float are not single beads. These are the big hunks of beads that come in 20 strands of 20. They're throwing because I guess they say this is the end of the route.
Right.
We don't want to take
or the guy that takes the whole cask of the whole vat of cups and throws it. Fred Hickman has not deployed, as far as I know, his head protection this evening, but he's got on it just in case, and he's downstairs.
Well, I'd like to be prepared, John, at all times, but I haven't had to break it out just as yet. But I'm kind of over in the infield area now with about 15,000 of my very close friends, and one of them is Mike. And Mike, you're from Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yes, I am.
Your first Mardi Gras experience?
Absolutely first. Great time.
Great time. Now, you're from Cleveland. Have you ever been in town for Mardi Gras? This is just your first Endymion?
I've been to New Orleans before, but never for Mardi Gras.
Have you been to parades too before this?
First parade.
First parade. Well, you hit a home run with this one.
And I'm loving it.
Well, come on back next year, why don't you? Come on back next year.
I'll try.
Okay, we're going to go from Ohio now to California, right? What part of California?
Orange County.
Orange County, okay. This is your first Endymion?
Yes.
What do you think?
I love it. I'm coming back next year.
Well, good. Now, what's the best part of it been for you so far?
Sorry?
What's the best part been so far? The music, the food, floats?
All of it. Being front right here in front of all of the floats, definitely the best.
And you're looking forward to Maroon 5, I presume, as well?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, all y'all who are having a great time, can you please say hello to the Fox 8 family watching at home? John and Nancy, it does not get any better than this. Back to you.
Thank you so much.
It probably does. That's the sad thing at some level. But it's been a great night. This night was in so much doubt. And Endymion, of course, had to roll last year after Bacchus. So they did. You know, that's the other thing that we haven't talked about tonight is they plan to have the extravaganza, rain or shine. They'll pull up at least some floats. We're not sure of the configuration, exactly how they would do it. But they, you know, this event will happen. This party will happen tonight, whether it is rained out publicly or not. So last year, in addition to all of the other concern about how they would pull this off, last year what the members of this crew had to do was ride into the convention center where they held the extravaganza last year because the dome was under construction, do this party, and then turn around and do it for real last year after Bacchus. They really did not want to do that if they could avoid it. And have a repeat, a second year in a row of rescheduling.
Well, you know what? Being in here is sort of a celebration of Mardi Gras and the New Orleans Saints because this is where they play. That Dado caught up with, you could call him a super fan.
Something we're seeing a lot of down here, a lot of very unique styles. And you guys, what look are you going for tonight?
We're going for the laid-back, casual look tonight. A lot of people here, you know, they dress up all the way to the nines, and, you know, we're going to bring a little bit of flavor to it.
Let's see, we've got a tuxedo shirt and pants, and then we can pan down Converse sneakers. At least they're going to be comfortable, right?
Absolutely. You got to be comfortable with these things. You're going to be standing up the whole time. You just got to have fun with it.
Tell me a little bit about your hats.
Well, we got them. We got beat up a couple years ago with all the beads hitting us, so we got some hard hats, and it's been the best thing we've ever done. My mother just decorated them like Mr. T for the guys, and I don't know what she did for the girls, but and then we got the glasses this year just for a little bit more protection.
Now, you want to protect yourself from the beads, but I would think this makes you stand out a little bit more.
Yes, and it makes it easier for my father and our buddy to find us on the when they come into the dome on the float. So.
15,000 people out here. You got to stand out. To find your crew. You got to keep your crew together.
So it's kind of like the flags at Jazz Fest. You guys have your hard hats.
Exactly. Just some way so we can recognize everybody that we're with.
Well, whatever works, I guess.
Exactly.
We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Meg Gatto, thanks very much. We have an almost empty dome. We have just one float making its way around.
We don't want to make the masses angry. I'm sure we'll get some more action in here in just a minute, but this float is throwing enough to keep them satisfied.
At least that one corner of the building. Sometimes you just have to step back and just take it all in.
It's, I just took a picture and messaged someone in Birmingham what was going on here tonight so they could see that I have a pretty fun job.
Right, on President's Weekend, President's Day weekend in Birmingham. It's a big, big deal.
Let's go down to the floor with Chris and Chella.
The party is going strong down here, John and Nancy. I want to introduce you, Colonel Mike Edmondson with the Louisiana State Police. You having a good time? I saw you.
I'm having an outstanding time. This has been a great Mardi Gras so far. I brought 150 troopers to New Orleans because I want to make sure that people want to have a good time. They can have a good time. When they cross that line, then we need to respond to it. But it's all about partnership. It's all about making sure people that come here, they want to come back. But that's what it's all about, being safe.
I saw you breaking out a few moves a minute ago. Are you enjoying the band?
I'm enjoying the band. My wife wants to meet Maroon 5, so I can't wait for them to come on. Look, I think it's a great deal. No place else on earth can you have this much fun and do it like we do it. There's nobody else like New Orleans. Nobody else like Mardi Gras.
Hey, you mentioned about having so much fun. Have you ever seen a place that can have this much fun and be under control?
Other cities try it. They can't do it. They call New Orleans. They call Louisiana. How can you do that? And you can't do it. You can only do it here because we respond so quickly when something happens. And that's the key. Something happens, that immediate response, and that's what the public expects. So that's why we've been able to do it for so long and do it so successfully.
You said there are 150 state troopers in New Orleans right now, and that's through Mardi Gras Day, right?
That's through Wednesday morning, plain clothes, in uniform. It's about making sure people feel safe. We do that year round. We make sure that we're a part of New Orleans because that's what the public expects. They don't care what the color of your uniform. They don't care what the shape of your badge is. They want to know when they want the police are there. That's what we're doing here.
Hey, I want to know where his beads are. I don't see any on you.
I had a beads, but I took them off. So
he had one
bead, huh?
No, I had a couple of beads, but I'm having a nice time, and this is great. No place else on earth. No place like New Orleans and Mardi Gras.
Well, Colonel, have a fun night tonight, and thank you for all your help.
Thank y'all very much. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be in New Orleans.
All right, Colonel Mike Edmondson with the Louisiana State Police. We're going to go ahead and our continuing coverage, live coverage of the crew of Endymion now, the extravaganza in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome continues right after this.
Watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza.
That didn't look like a rain issue, did it?
No, it didn't.
And quite a treat here in the Superdome. Just a little while ago, there were about 4 of these huge super floats, including the granddaddy of them all, Captain Eddie's SS Endymion, which is exiting the Superdome as we speak.
And Jack and the Beanstalk is making his way around the Superdome now.
It's like if you were in from another town and you heard that little 2-sentence thing there, you would think, what in the world are they talking about? Look at the outstretched hands.
That's a great shot there. This is a float that shows this craftsmanship gets better and better. It's an English folk tale popularized by Joseph Jacobs. We all remember the story.
All right, Fred Hickman's downstairs getting his first taste of Mardi Gras.
Yeah, this is great, John and Nancy. We're having a ball down here. Again, I'm kind of over here in the infield area, so I'm just going to start on this end and talk to folks. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, you doing? Having a great time.
from New Orleans? Are you from New Orleans?
Yes, I am. Born and raised here.
Best Endymion ever? Best Endymion ever?
Best Endymion for 34 years. I'm coming here.
34 years, wow. How about you? What's your name, dear?
My name is Shannon.
Where are you from?
Slidell.
Slidell. How do you rate this Endymion to other Endymions you've been to? It's the best?
It's the best.
What do you like best about Endymion? The food, the music, the parade?
Everything. This is everything. Music, everything.
And it seems as though everybody's talking to total strangers like they're great friends out here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Weather didn't bother anybody. Now here's a lady after my own heart. See, you're smart. I brought a helmet with me too, just in case.
Yeah, I've been hit in the head too many times.
You've been hit in the head too many times. I'm being offered champagne, but I certainly must turn that down. However, I will accept this wonderful throw. Thank you very much. What's your name, dear?
Mindy.
Thank you, Mindy. Oh, no. Okay, let's get it back up to you guys. You're trying to get me in trouble down here.
Wow. Brad Hickman in his first Mardi Gras.
Getting his first taste, or not, of Mardi Gras.
Our floats have slowed up considerably, so that means that we're going to be barraged in just a little while as they catch up.
In the meantime, let's go downstairs to Jennifer Hale.
Well, John, Nancy, I was able to catch up with Chief Ronald Surpass of the New Orleans Police Department. Chief, happy Mardi Gras. How is it going so far this year?
Oh, happy Mardi Gras to you and the people of New Orleans. It's been wonderful so far. Endymion's one of the greatest Mardi Gras float parade systems in the whole world. We're here at the Superdome. Got a little bit of rain earlier, but it cleared up. Crowd was great. Crowd was big. Inside the dome was wonderful.
Any problems because of the inclement weather?
Not at all. It was a little slow early on to start. The weather cleared up, just as your station predicted, and the next thing was wonderful. We had people out, stopped and talked, and thanked every police officer on the route because we had to make a lot of changes in their schedules to get all these parades done during the weekend. I'm very proud of them, very proud of them.
Give us a little glimpse into what an officer's schedule is like during these 2 weeks of Mardi Gras.
Today is probably a 12-hour day, a 10-hour day. Most of them are going to come back tomorrow morning at about 7 a.m., work all the way through to the end of Bacchus. They'll come back on Monday, work all the way through to the end of Orpheus. They'll come back about 7 o'clock in the morning Tuesday and work all the way until midnight or 1 o'clock, depending upon where they're at. And then our Bourbon Street people work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Chief, safety is such an important thing, and making New Orleans safe is a battle and a cause I know that you champion. How important is it to have a Mardi Gras with no big incidents as far as our national reputation and the image for folks here who call this place home?
We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people who come into New Orleans. The worst thing that happens to them is drinking too many hurricanes. We got to keep focused on how much fun time this is. If there's an issue, the police department's on it right away, and we fix it and we hold it until we get it straightened out. By and large, though, where else can you go and have this kind of a free party?
When you consider the number of people here, the mass of people coming to drink and have fun, all in all, would you say this has been a successful and safe holiday event?
An incredible successful one. This is my second one, Mardi Gras back as chief, but it's my 23rd Mardi Gras as a New Orleans police officer. It's been great. Last year and this year have been really, really good.
Chief Ronald Surpass, I hope you get to have a little bit of fun. Thank you for your time and happy Mardi Gras.
Thank you. Happy Mardi Gras to you.
John, Nancy, let's send it back upstairs to you.
Okay, thanks so much, Jennifer. That really is a good point. You know, there really, as far as we know, there haven't been incidents tonight. It's always, there's a saying in the news business that it's not news when the plane lands safely. And there is some truth to that in terms of keeping your perspective about what is, in this case, 15,000 people that are virtually free of incident, and many, many tens of thousands along the parade route tonight. A good ride this evening.
Yeah,
and, a party unlike anything anywhere.
And it's also in the planning, John. You know, Ed Munez has planned this party to a T, every moment, every detail, every barricade, and it's just wonderful. And actually, Meg Gatter caught up with him and talked with him.
And I'm joined now by Ed Munez, the captain of Endymion. Ed, you were telling me the weather obviously was bad tonight. How did you guys fare, though?
Well, you know, it's not an exact science, and everybody in good faith thought that the rain would be over at 4 o'clock and then 5 o'clock and then 6 o'clock, and it rained up until about 8 o'clock and rained hard. we were around Canal and Galvez when it finally stopped, so we didn't have many people out. St. Charles was probably the closest thing to normal, and that was maybe 35-40% of what it normally is. So all in all, you know what I mean, it wasn't a big crowd.
Right. And Ed, you were telling me that some people actually got sick along the route. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, a lot of them got rode afloat, and then the wind came and Jimmy Fitzpatrick, poor fellow's 90 years old now, and he rode in all that rain, which shows he's a real trooper. But I worry about his health when he does that.
And you were telling me that Adam Levine, who's the lead singer of Maroon 5.
These people, they make a lot of money, and they're very popular, and they don't need to get pneumonia. So, but he's here, and they're going to perform.
So he got off the float so he could get out of the bad weather?
Yeah, we had a limousine right behind him. As far as I know, that's what happened. And they would do their show, but they worry about when they perform at full strength. You know, it would sound good and everything.
Right. Now, Ed, you were saying that the crowds weren't exactly what you were expecting outside, but what about inside? The dome looks pretty good tonight, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the dome's indoors. The dome's been sold out now for 5 months.
So you're happy with what you're seeing here tonight?
This event is normal. What happened in the street wasn't normal.
All right, Ed. Well, good luck tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, that's Meg Gatto with Captain Ed Munez. And coming into the dome, we see this fantastic float. It's called Don Giovanni della Fortuna. Well, we'll get to it in a second.
What we do see is this huge setting. There we go.
There's Don Giovanni della Fortuna.
You're just showing off.
He squandered the fortune his father left him. Grown up to a lavish lifestyle.
Am I supposed to know that fairy tale?
I don't remember that fairy tale.
Is this an Italian fairy tale?
Yeah,
what is this? Because, you know, they do throw in a few of those.
Yeah, we don't know this.
So what's he about?
Well, he's used to servants and extravagant parties. Although he lost his parents at a young age, he missed them terribly. He liked to think that he carried on with their values, like their generosity. All that changed, however, when an earthquake struck and an enormous tidal wave decimated the city, including every source of his wealth and support, and overnight he became destitute.
The author obviously did not envision this taking place. But as we learn about Don Giovanni from Nancy, inexplicably the producer has asked us to toss to a break, so we'll be back with more of our Mardi Gras. I thought it was great. I was enthralled.
All right, we'll be back with
Nobody's ever made me feel the way that you do. You know my motivation, even my reputation. Please excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, but tonight I'm loving you. Tonight I'm loving you. Tonight I'm loving you.
Getting a bit closer, but getting back to the Queen, what an incredible night for the father who is right.
Most beautiful Queen of Endymion, Miss Erica Marie Johnson.
You're watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion extravaganza. Fox 8 men's formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants.
inside what is simply the largest party on the North American continent. We are watching the 2012 version of the Endymion Extravaganza. A band from Atlanta called Simply Irresistible is playing as we watch the sights and sounds. We'll listen in. To defend the kingdom. The queen left him in the care of an evil fairy who tried to seduce him when he became an adult. Belle's story reveals that she is not really a merchant's daughter, but the offspring of a king. It's just as detailed as the crew itself, and they are. You can tell that we're getting to near the end of this thing because they are starting to park them. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5th float entering now. And we'll soak it all in, get out of the way for just a second, toss to a break, and be back with more of our coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza in a moment.
Fox 8 special coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza, live from the Louisiana Superdome. Now, your hosts, John Snell and Nancy Parker.
They are close to the end of this. Well, let me see. We started tonight at about 5:30. We started late. We're coming up on I guess it's 11 o'clock now. You sort of lose track of the time. So we'll have about a 6-hour parade, and that's abbreviated. So think about that. They got this thing into the dome about an hour and a half, right on time actually at 9 o'clock, but about an hour and a half cut off the time.
And it has been chock full of action. I mean, we haven't had much of a lull this whole parade. A couple of times there was only one float, but every other time they've been rolling through, and it's been a great parade so far.
All right, well, let's go downstairs to Shelley Brown.
All right, guys, look at the beads that we caught tonight.
I go big or I go home. You asked me where my beads were.
Those are the ones you were waiting for. And I want to introduce you to the man of the hour, the monarch tonight, George Lafargue Jr. He's here with his family. Little George, his wife, Chanel. Tell us how you're feeling right now. You've been all smiles.
Oh, man, unbelievable. Happy Mardi Gras, everybody.
What stood out to you the most tonight? What stood out to you the most tonight?
Oh, the tremendous crowds and everybody so happy. It's just a wonderful thing for the city of New Orleans. We need
something like this to make everybody happy. Oh, yeah.
You were surprised when they pulled your name, weren't you?
Well, out of out to put my name out the hopper with 3,000 envelopes, man, that's tremendous. That's God sent that.
And I hear you're also a member of the crew of Zulu.
Yeah, I've been a member, active member in that since 94. I love Mardi Gras.
We can tell. Yeah, we can tell. I want to talk to his son, Little George. Is that what they call you, Little George? What was this like for you tonight?
It was an amazing dream for me. It's everything I could ever want.
Hey, and you look like $1 million right now, too.
Thank you.
Let's see, will your mom talk to us? Chanel, what has this been like for you?
This has been the best 3 weeks of our lives. We've had fun every day. Endymion is first class. They treat us like we were really family. It's wonderful.
The Lafargue family, really royalty tonight, and we are getting bombarded with beans.
Royalty, but I don't think you'd see the Queen and King of England doing this. They come down off of their throne to mix amongst the peasants and catch some beans.
They are having a blast.
Having a great time.
They're having a blast. You know these people are big fans of Mardi Gras when they're in Endymion and
You're
Zulu.
involved in 2 big organizations like Endymion and Zulu and very active in both. You love Mardi Gras.
We've been getting all kinds of throws. I got a couple of roses and purple and red ones.
I like those.
And these beads are they're kind of weighty.
They are. I'm gonna lift these for my workout routines.
Workout. Well, these guys have been getting a workout on the floats tonight. I mean, they have some arms. You would think they would be tired after several hours of throwing. You know they're going to be hurting tomorrow, but I don't think they really care.
They're going to be in some serious pain tomorrow, whenever they get up.
And this band, woo! Oh, that just got Chris. Oh, okay, here we go.
Okay, well, that hurts.
You're listening to Simply Irresistible, by the way. That's the awesome band in the background. We're going to go ahead and throw things back to John and Nancy as we get bombarded with more beats.
Okay, thanks. Shelley Brown and Chris Franklin getting pelted there at the end.
This is that point that I told you about, John, that we were going to get a barrage of floats all of a sudden. We're at that point now that there's hardly any room for any more.
Now we have 5 in here right now, and this is Hansel and Gretel that is in front of us. That fairy tale. It's a German fairy tale, but very popular, of course, in America. But only float number 13, so we've got about 10 more floats to go, assuming that they kept the order here the way that they had planned. And as I look at these guys, they're throwing, one of the new throws in the last couple of years have been these plastic strands which come flying off about a dozen apiece. And they have been very generous in their disposal of them tonight. Meg Gatto actually had been looking into some of the special throws this evening, and she's got more on that.
Well, I managed to get my hands on one of the official throws of this Endymion parade. It's one of the Endymion mascots on a lanyard, and you can see it's all lit up, so it definitely catches the eye. And these lucky ladies have also managed to get some official throws. Now tell me, you guys must have an in, don't you, with Endymion?
We do. My son-in-law rides, and his dad.
Now, they had some wet weather out there tonight. Were they dreading riding tonight, or how were they feeling?
No, really good about it.
Really?
And they said they had a crowd in the beginning. So.
That's great. Yeah, we're taking a look at the crowds right now, and there's some people out there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Now, what are you looking forward to tonight?
Adam Levine, Maroon 5, all the great bands that are going to be playing.
You know, Maroon 5 is one of the biggest bands that they've had here in a few years, one of the biggest name bands. They just performed last weekend on the Grammys, and now here they are in the Superdome.
Right, you can't beat that. I mean, you pay for them to be here, but it's a great concert. Great bands.
And Big and Rich, they're also a pretty big band.
Yes, also with Gretchen Wilson, I mean, it'll be a great night.
All right, and any specific throws? I know you've already got the official throw, but anything else you guys are looking forward to catching tonight? I mean, you already got the most coveted thing, right?
A lot of everything.
A lot of everything? All right, thank you so much. Now I've got my throw. We'll send it back to you guys.
look inside the Superdome tonight, and it is madness in here.
It is what?
Madness.
Oh, it's madness. Okay. I was the one member of the audience who couldn't hear you. It's so loud in here. And it's got to be loud on the floor where Fred Hickman and Jennifer Hale are, guys.
John, Nancy, it is indeed loud, but my goodness, it's amazing. I'm having a wonderful time, but Fred, this is your first one, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and impressions on what you think of Endymion Nights at Mardi Gras.
Well, I think it's absolutely wonderful, and I think that the most impressive thing to me, the pageantry is wonderful, the floats are wonderful, the music is wonderful, but the fact that all of these total strangers can get together, it's like a family. I must have had 15 people say, "Hey, you hungry? You want something to eat?" You know, I mean, that's the great part of it. It's just a good time to come together. We spend so much time talking about bad news on our newscast, frankly. It's great to see New Orleans come together and have this kind of a party. It's wonderful.
As much as South Louisiana, New Orleans is known for throwing a great party, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about family, it's about friendships, and events like this bring us all together and bring us closer, and it's just one more special moment to all share together. And this is Jamie Giorgio, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She is an Endymion veteran. So tell me how this parade compares to past Endymions in other years.
I think Ed makes it better and better every year. The floats are bigger, better, the lights are better, the riders are more excited. I can't get over how excited they are despite the weather.
The weather was no factor today whatsoever, though, right?
I mean, these guys, the band stuck it out through it, and I can't get over Lieutenant Governor Fitzmore riding the whole parade. I mean, wonderful.
So Jamie, the big question for me, will you make it all night till like 4 a.m. when this thing wraps up, or after Maroon 5, are you done?
Oh no, all night. Till they kick us out.
All right.
Just gonna shut it down.
Yeah, now listen, we got to bring this guy in here. This guy's got the best tuxedo buttons I've ever seen. Kai, can you get those?
Oh, nice.
Little fleur-de-lis.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Little fleur-de-lis there.
Yeah.
Right now, I want everybody to put your lighters.
I'm a little upset that wasn't an option with my rental.
I didn't rent these, sorry.
All right.
You have to
Thank
pay
you
for
very
that.
much. Happy Mardi Gras.
You'll have a great time.
Yeah, this is wonderful. I love working with you, too. This has been a ball.
Oh, my favorite. You're my Endymion. You know, the definition of Endymion, I believe, was handsome God.
Well, okay.
I'm lucky Monday through Friday, right? You know what, Fred, though, we want you to stick around because as much fun as the parade has been, the bands are going to be amazing tonight. The party is far from over here in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. And I know Chris Franklin and Shelley Brown agree. They're just to our left having a great time. Guys, you enjoying the night?
Yeah, we're lost in the confusion of people, music, and beads. It's chaos over here.
We've got some people we've kind of met over here from Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and Morgan City. Have you guys been to the Endymion Extravaganza before?
Haven't been here before, no.
Oh, well, how's it been?
It's been great. It's been fun. It's been interesting, for sure. A lot of people, more than I thought. So,
have either of you ever experienced a big party like this before?
I know you guys are in this corner that's been getting all the beads right here. Catching a lot of beads. I mean, it's been a good time. And the bands have been great. Are you really looking forward to Maroon 5 tonight? Are you looking forward to Maroon 5?
I think she looks more than I am.
Maroon 5, are you looking forward? Adam Levine, he's so good looking.
What's the lead singer's name?
I'm sorry.
What's the lead singer's name? Oh, I forgot. I didn't know. I didn't know what his name was. Oh, that's why. That's why.
But the band that's on the stage right now, Simply Irresistible, out of
great.
Atlanta, I mean, not only can they sing, but they can move, too.
And you know what? Even though they're out of Atlanta, we'll give them the fact that they are pretty good.
They are awesome, and they're even wearing the Mardi Gras purple.
That's true. They've been...
Mardi Gras, right?
You were all decked out.
Thank you guys. We hope you have a great time tonight. Happy Mardi Gras.
There may be 1 or 2 drinks consumed in the course of the evening.
Just a few. Let's go ahead and set we haven't had any.
No, just water. I promise.
Right. Let's go back up to John and Nancy.
All right, thanks so much, guys. They're listening to Simply Irresistible as they wait for more floats to roll into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome tonight. And, you know, the attire is, we get so caught up in the floats, the people look fantastic. But Meg Gatto caught up with someone who has a twist on black tie.
You know, black tie means a lot of different things to different people. I want you to take a look at Barry's outfit. Barry, tell me a little bit about this jacket. It's pretty cool.
He's really good friends, long-term friends. Made them for me and 3 other guys, one Mardi Gras, and we dressed up in crazy hats and masks. And now I keep wearing it to the balls. People love it.
You passed the dress code for Endymion?
I did.
Now tell me a little bit about this. You've got doubloons on the sleeves here. Now are these doubloons that they've caught over the years, your friends?
My friends live in San Antonio. Me and my other friend live here. When we introduced them to Mardi Gras 25 years ago, they've been every year, so they've caught them. There are different stories of early in our friendship, and too many stories, one jacket.
And you know, you were telling me this jacket really does have special meaning to you. I want you to tell us about the B over here and the Superman logo. What does that mean?
Well, I've been HIV positive for 28 years, and my friends tend to say Super Barry, because not many people.
So the jacket is more than just style. It's really symbolic to you.
Absolutely. It's way more than a costume.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And how many years have you been coming to Endymion?
I came once when I was 15 and now.
Wow. So are you excited tonight?
I am. It's fun.
Yeah. And glad that the weather held out somewhat, that the parade was able to roll.
I got pretty wet coming here, so I don't know. But we'll see.
The jacket still made it.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Barry. We'll send it back to you.
I think I want to try that next year. What do you think? Get some of that, some of Fred's fleur-de-lis cufflinks. I'll be good to go.
You'll be a Mac Daddy, that's for sure.
And that'll be the first time I've ever been called that. We'll have more of the 2012 edition of the Endymion Extravaganza.
So y'all just repeat after me. Just say what I say. Ladies, 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 let me hear you say ow. Say ow. Say ow, ow. Say ow, ow. Ladies, say ow. Say ow, ow. Now somebody, anybody, everybody scream.
Fox 8 men's formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants. You're watching Fox 8's live coverage of the Endymion Extravaganza.
Inside the Louisiana Superdome, the frog prince. Traditional story of the spoiled princess who befriends a frog. Yada yada turns into the handsome prince. You've heard the story.
Before, yeah, a couple of
It's a good
times.
float though.
It's a great float. Let's listen in to some of the sights and sounds of this Mardi Gras 2012.
We do want to remind you, by the way, that we'll have a special edition of Fox 8 News at 9. Special because it's coming up 2.5 hours. We'll continue our Endymion coverage. Take a look at what everybody went through today to get this event off. severe weather around the area, so we're looking at that. Also, Nicandra Norwood with her forecast coming up for the rest of the weekend, which I think everybody pretty much realizes that we turned a right turn or a left turn or a 180 or whatever, however you want to describe it, about parade time. It just looks great. So I'll be very interested to see if the updated forecast, looks as good as we had been told, because Pat Tuesday was looking really good.
That's important. So as we get ready to go to a break, I want to leave you with some of these sounds. Stay tuned. Endymion 2012, and get ready. Fox 8 News, a very late Fox 8 News.
In about 10 minutes. But we'll be back.
Fox 8 men's formal wear provided by Duran's Tuxedo Consultants.
Float number 17, the Shrek, has just entered the building, but we still have at least about 8 more floats to go or so.
In that range, they've got a few little, special floats that they throw in between. So they say, 23 floats, but it's more like 30-something plus the Maids and the captain and all the rest. So it's massive, mammoth in its dimensions.
This has been one of the better parades that we've seen. I know we say that every year, but the artistry gets better every time. And it's just been amazing to see how the people are just clamoring for beads tonight.
All right, let's go downstairs. Fred Hickman and Jennifer Hale.
Well, John, Nancy, I agree. This has been one of the most phenomenal Mardi Gras I've ever seen, both from an aesthetic point, the LED lights and the pyrotechnics that they've used on these floats and inside the Superdome tonight. And the throws just keep coming. Those are good, too.
Hey, when the light goes on, look out. I found that much out.
Exactly.
And one of the things I've been really impressed with are the people behind the scenes that are keeping the thing moving. Even the guys driving the tractors. Everybody takes it seriously, but everybody's having a great time. It has been absolutely wonderful.
And we had a chance to talk with Chief Ronald Surpass as well, and he said, this has been a safe Mardi Gras. This has been an excellent projection of New Orleans and what we have to offer here. It's been safe, and I think that's a huge win for the city and the national image that we're trying to give folks here in the Crescent City.
That's right. Same thing to New Orleans Fire and the EMTs. We've unfortunately seen them working a couple of cases in here, but all in all, it's been safe. It's been fun. Everybody's had a wonderful time. It's my first Mardi Gras in New Orleans, but I guarantee it will not be my last.
Now, you told me tonight made it worth the move for you.
I made it absolutely worth it, without question.
I think
if you're watching out there and you're not from here, you should move here immediately. Chris is showing us get it over to you guys.
Just caught one of these Endymion bears.
You've been pelted with beads all night. I saw that bag flying at you, but luckily it was a stuffed animal.
Thank goodness. I keep keeping an eye out because they're coming from all different directions. But this crew of Endymion has been absolutely gorgeous tonight. Absolutely gorgeous.
But you know what? Something that I was thinking about, we've been talking about how great the parade was tonight, how great the extravaganza was. But you do realize that next year we're going to have 2 big weekends of Mardi Gras parades in between the Super Bowl.
I keep forgetting about that. But that is going to be one amazing couple of weeks in this city. This city is going to be electric, and the whole world will be watching us.
Here they come again.
This is the end of the road for these guys. It's been a great and fun ride, I'm sure, even though it's been a little wet. But they're trying to get rid of these beads. They still have a lot left.
They have a lot left. I don't know where they're going to use, maybe for next year.
They have been so generous, let me tell you.
All right, John and Nancy.
All right, thanks, guys. I leave it to the sports guys to make the big point about, can you imagine next year with the Saints in the Super Bowl, all that build-up and all of this kind of wrapped around it?
Well, it's a great party. It's going to be a great party.
That will be fun when that happens. And to see this from the point of view of somebody for the first time, if you were coming as a tourist to Endymion, maybe you caught muses, and really it's interesting. As of a couple days ago, it actually was possible to get a hotel room for a reasonably decent price on Lundi Gras and on Mardi Gras. In a downtown hotel, I think I priced it today. There were only about 4 available. The highest price was $699 or $599 for the night. You could get a hotel at one of the airport hotels for about 189 plus tax tonight at the last minute, but that was obviously due to cancellation. I mean, they are just about as close to booked up, the hotels, as they possibly can be. The weather is going to break. You know, there were unfortunately a couple of parades in the river parishes that got sacrificed this weekend, but the thought is that we will get the parades in that were postponed last night and tonight, and from here on in it looks like smooth sailing. A little scheduling, but it looks like a great rest of the Mardi Gras.
And it is Super Crew weekend, that's for sure. We got Bacchus tomorrow night, we got Endymion tonight, so building up to Fat Tuesday, this is the time to be in New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these huge double tandem floats, one coming in, one going out. It is still, as they wind down here, a great show that we have witnessed tonight. It's a night that looked like it was lost earlier this evening, even earlier this afternoon. It just looked like it was, righted off, and it's turned into a great show, as always, by Endymion.
It's almost not fair to have this much fun and live in a great place like we do, but we've enjoyed bringing you this Endymion extravaganza today.
And much more coming up on Fox 8 News, a special edition in just a moment. Happy Mardi Gras.
Fox 8, the only Louisiana station honored with the 2011 Emmy for Station Excellence, is proudly locally owned.